Okay, here we go. Now you can also hear Hannah. Let's resume the other music bot.
Yippee.
So, yeah, hello every ball or every cabbage. I'm Felix aka Laxen, and with me in the voice chat is Hannah aka Geflügel.
Indeed,
And
I
welcome
am.
to our Gamedev stream, the first after our first major release since 5 years. I think it has been 5 years since we released the DLC, so...
Yeah, that's true, that's true.
Damn, too much time
I
has
mean,
passed.
it was an early access release, which has been even longer. I mean, our last early access release was 11 years, right?
Yeah.
You think about it. But as you all know, there is a saying in German that says something like, the early access catches the worm.
Yeah, that's like definitely how the saying goes. So yeah, thanks everybody for all the congratulations. So before I forget, there have been like a couple subscriptions I should mention. One by Muckelchen300 saying, "Hello, I'm really enjoying Alabaster so far. You cooked good. You cooked good. Thank you so much. Yeah, we have been slow cooking this.
Slow cooking.
We have been slow cooking this game for a good while now.
But slow cooking is very good for some ingredients. So
yeah. I guess it is. So then we have another subscription by Mayo who subscribed for 30 months saying, "Hello every chakram." I guess that's another way to say it. Since strictly speaking, we don't have balls anymore, but we still have chakrams.
we don't have balls anymore. We got castrated. I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah. Somebody mentioned that it didn't know early access came out. I mean, yeah, marketing is hard. Also a bit of Bailey saying happy early access launch every stone. It contains one. Okay, I mean.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, there's a stone definitely. Yeah, even though stone is a curse in that game, so.
Sunken stone.
Okay, I guess balls is also a curse to some extent. So.
And also psychiatric for the 68th month, saying 1 month away from that number.
Oh.
I mean, actually.
And also, also 1 month away from that other number. There's actually two.
That's the more important number these days with the kids. So
yeah. you passed the Zuma number and your or like the Gen Alpha number, and now you're approaching the millennial number, I think. So,
but not 2000, the other one.
no. Okay.
We got quite a few first-time chatters today. Like most recently, Claire Amel saying, "Congratulations on the early access launch. Thank you."
Thank you.
And by N2430, hey guys, congrats on the release. Thanks. And thanks to the other people who congratulated us, and of course all the people who bought the game.
Thanks everybody who supports us by joining early access. I mean, we know that early access for a narrative-driven action RPG is not like the most ideal and obvious choice, but it is kind of like more or less like the secret ingredient that allowed us to create CrossCode in the first place, so to say. I mean, we never would have been able to create CrossCode back then without early access, and it turned out that things are similar again for early access because, well, about the previously mentioned slow cooking. I mean, it's part of the reason why I think the game is now received fairly well. I mean, we really worked hard on the details in this one, but we neglected a little bit the content because of this, so we now have to focus on that.
Yeah. But
music is a bit loud, right? Let me just reduce the volume.
It's okay for me, but maybe I just turned it down already.
Yeah.
I mean, you also have to keep in mind that we, well, at least some of our members were very busy with the Rogue-lite modus, which is now technically implemented for the most part. I mean,
the Rogue-lite still will be, to some extent,
yeah, I mean,
it will take some time just adding new levels and new powers and blessings. But yeah, like the foundation was like some more work that is more or less finished. I mean, the whole idea of the rogue mode was that we can give players some additional stuff to play that ideally will not distract us too much from developing the main game. Obviously, in practice, you always have to put some extra work into stuff. But in the end, we can recycle a lot of stuff, obviously. I mean, in the end, it's like just reframing all the content that we already have for the game, right? So you have the same enemies, the same boss fights.
Is the secret of Evermore music? Music in quotation mark?
Sorry, what?
Oh, no, it's okay. I was wondering what this music is. Oh, Heroes of Might and Magic. Okay, yeah. That makes sense. A horrible joke just came to my mind. I don't know what to
say. So yeah, this is a game dev stream, but since we just launched the game, I was assuming there might be a couple more questions about the game, how we will move forward from now, what will happen in the future, when is the game finally done, and all this. So that's why we're doing the stream too. So feel free to ask any question. We will try to answer. I will pay extra attention to the chat today. At least I will try to, so we don't miss too much stuff. Yeah. Other than that, we will work on some small stuff. There's obviously still some bugs and crashes we need to work on, but it seems to me at least that most of these seem to happen rarely. Please correct me if I missed something that is like bothering a lot of people. But as far as I've seen, like most critical bugs should be fixed. There's still a couple crash issues, but they seem to happen rarely. We definitely look into those as well.
Yeah. I mean, I've added a few checks for some crashes that hopefully prevent them, but we'll see.
Do you have any idea? There's a question now. Do you have any idea of the main wait time between main updates? Yeah, that's a good question. It's a little bit hard to say exactly how it will look like. I know that in CrossCode we somehow managed to do updates at least every 2 and 3 months, as far as I remember. Ideally, we would aim for something similar. I mean, it's good to have at least 4 updates a year, kind of just to have like regular milestones. That also helps us to kind of like move things in a more focused manner, so to say. That's why I think every 3 months is realistic right now. At least that's probably what we will try to do.
I mean, the next update is supposedly we're planning to come out supposedly a bit earlier, right? Or what was the plan again?
Sorry, what?
For the next, like the very next update, we are planning to release maybe a bit earlier, right? I mean, we will see. I mean, we might
maybe
plan,
it will be in 2 months. We have to discuss this. In fact, like, I'll be honest, like, we didn't have too much time to really think about a roadmap, since we have been very much just focused to get everything ready on time for this update, like for the release, because honestly we have been crunching a lot the last 1 or 2 months, because there was like we kind of underestimated the amount of stuff we still had to do, but we actually managed to get roughly all the stuff that we wanted. I mean, you may notice that a few quests and a few things are missing. Ideally would have added those already, but those will be part of the next update. You know, some of those signs that you find here and there.
Yeah, and also like we of course will also replace a few of the placeholders in likely hotfixes even, or normal.
Yeah, some of the item graphics that are still missing, stuff like this we work on earlier. So there will definitely be so I can see that maybe another update might be released already in 1 or 2 months, where we will make the next area, the swamp, accessible. But something that we've been doing with Crosscode, and I think we will likely do again with Alabaster Dawn, is kind of like to do the two different kind of updates. So one is more about expanding the world, so you have new areas to explore and to fight enemies, and other updates will be more about continuing the story. Ideally I would have hoped to kind of like do this in a uniform way, but something I realized just working on the content for the launch version is that actually there's a lot of advantage of doing the story later, because story is just something where it really helps to have a bit more time to plan things, to know exactly how the world looks like, how everything is connected, because that kind of like helps to make the story fit better into the game. So that's why in Crosscode we also did the thing where we essentially released new areas and dungeons ahead of time, and then did later updates where we continue the story. And we will likely do something like this in Alabaster Dawn as well. So the next update will likely not continue the story, but you will have more content to try. So that's probably the gist of it, I think. But yeah, again, it's something we still need to properly discuss in the team and decide on. And we will follow up with a blog post where we give you all the details about this. And we'll try to give you like a rough roadmap of what we plan to do the next 3 years. That will hopefully get us close to a final release. Yeah, that's the plan anyway.
Yep. There were some questions regarding like Linux and stuff like that.
Yes, there have been comments about Linux. So we are aware that there's those weird rendering issues, specifically the black dots. Yeah, we have currently the big issue that we actually need actually Linux installations where you can reproduce those issues, so we can have a closer look at those and see if we manage to find some workarounds. I'm a little bit hopeful that the black dots is something that we might be able to fix, because my hope is that this is related to some kind of sampling method setting that might cause this, that we might be able to avoid by just specifying some specific values for the API. but I have to check if that's actually true. If that doesn't work, it might be more tricky to find a fix for these issues. It's like, to some extent, we are also always bound to how well Chrome works with every system. If the system has driver issues that lead to Chrome not working correctly, there's not much we can do other than, you know, updating the Node WebKit version, which is something we can do. So that's also something we can look into. So in case those rendering issues keep being an issue, we might just try updating the WebKit version for Linux specifically and see if that helps. There's always a risk of updating Node WebKit versions. Some other things might break, but usually it helps. So that's something we can also look into. But yeah, it's tricky, honestly. We will try to do things. There might be limits to what we can do, unfortunately, but we would really like to get the game to run, at the very least, that it runs flawlessly on the Steam Deck. There's still like the blurry UI issue that really would like to get rid, which is really weird because it only happens for the UI apparently, but not for the in-game graphics. So there's hope that we might be able to find a fix for this. But again, like, just need to create a good setup so we can actually test this properly. I just, you know, in essence need to create a good testing setup for the Steam Deck already, so I can look at this in detail. And now this is kind of like now a tricky thing, right? If you now focus on fixing those technical issues, it's dangerous because these things can be a huge time sink, and it will in turn lead us to, you know, not work on content. So we kind of always need to balance these things a little bit, that, you know, can find solutions for the worst technical issues. But if we try to fix every technical issue there is, we probably can just sink a month into this not working on content. So we have to be careful about this as well. That's just unfortunately the reality of development. So kind of like we have to find a good balance here. It's kind of like the downside of working with weird technology like web technologies, you know. Okay, so there have been some more subscriptions, and we still don't get like the nice sound notifications, so I need to look into those. Maybe I should make the text longer so I can better see stuff. I would like to know the amazing artist behind the placeholder sprite for the divine bowling pin. Wait, is that the curry roll food item?
Yeah, I used the curry roll for that, so it doesn't share the same with the up and below.
Oh yeah, actually I think that was something that Stefan scribbled, as far as I remember, or have it been used?
Yeah, it's our old placeholder for like blueprints.
Yeah, it's very old. Yeah.
So it was meant to be a scroll, I think, like something like that.
Question, is feature development mostly done and the focus now on content implementation? Yes, definitely. There's still a couple of features that we still need to finally wrap up, but I would say about 95% of all the mechanics are there. This does, however, not include all the puzzle mechanics. Those are always something we kind of implement when we get close to each of the dungeons. That's just how we work. It kind of like, it just works better for us to, you know, do those close to the actual dungeon. But we have already a couple more mechanics actually implemented that will be part of the next dungeon. So it's not like we have to start from scratch, but yeah, we will mostly focus on content from now on. Okay. The first demo didn't have the MIDI faces towards mouse, right? I've been feeling a lot more comfortable with it enabled, more like how crosscode controls. That's interesting because crosscode also didn't face the mouse cursor. Actually, that was never the case. Crosscode always faced in the direction of the cursors, and it actually was implemented in a way that you had to click on layer to actually do melee attacks. That's why this option never would have made sense for crosscode, because you had to click, you know, close enough to layer to actually do a melee hit, but at the same time click at the right direction, and this just gives you a very narrow field where the correct click would be. So that this never made any sense for crosscode. No, we actually implemented this option for the first time for Alabaster Dawn, and like personally I would not enable it because somehow I can't play like this. It's a matter of what you're used to. But I can see how a lot of people prefer to play the game like this. That's why we added the option. So there's a comment, but the story sometimes unlocks parts of the map. So the map update will only have parts of the full map, right? Not exactly. Something we often do is that we allow you to go through the whole area, but then when the story update happens, we will actually set you progress back somewhat. So what we will do is we will likely disable landmarks and teleport you out of the new area, so you have to enter it again, just to make sure that you experience the correct story procedure, like that everything experienced in the right order, so you don't skip any cutscenes. We can actually, you can keep your level, you can even keep collected items. That's usually not an issue. We might even be able to keep your dungeon progress in a way. So when we're developing these things, we just have to make sure that it's possible to, you know, just play the dungeon and then, you know, walk through it again and experience the story. Obviously, it would not be ideal, but for those people who don't feel like doing it again, we at least want to provide the option, right? Otherwise, we would always suggest people to at least keep a save at the point where the story ends, so you kind of like can experience the story with the right gameplay context if you prefer it like this way. But we can kind of tweak the game state in a way that you can experience the story even though you already played the map and beat the dungeon. We managed to do the same for crosscode. Just need to be aware of this. Okay, Flora's now coding in Godot. What's happening? As far as I'm aware, the Needle struct load thing is a bug in Mesa that already has a fix pending upstream. Okay, so this is actually a bug in Linux. It says it's interesting because the black dots, I don't know, like we actually had similar issues on Windows if certain options have been enabled. So my hope is that it might be because of these options and the way we render the game that this might lead to issues. So maybe it's still something we can fix. But I mean, obviously, if Linux does the fix, then that would be great too. Okay. Crosscode on Linux was fine. Have you tried using the same Node WebKit version? Also hi. You cannot compare Crosscode with Alabaster Dawn. Crosscode uses a very old Node WebKit version. If you use that one with Alabaster Dawn, the game would likely not render correctly because we are using a much more modern API called WebGL. Crosscode uses Canvas 2D. Alabaster Dawn uses WebGL. So it's like a whole different rendering style. Like, it's not, we cannot just use the same thing we did for crosscode. And this is unfortunately also why the game does run slower on older hardware where crosscode ran, you know, perfectly fine, because we do have a different rendering approach that allows us to do a lot of cool things, but it's also more demanding on hardware, right? So, like, we unfortunately cannot go back to crosscode standards with Alabaster Dawn. So,
I mean, thankfully, hardware is always getting cheaper, right?
yeah, well, at least you don't need the most up-to-date thing for our game. It's not that bad. Hi, Yui, and thank you. Just that you was commenting, liking behind a little bit.
Where is Yui? Where is he? Where is she? Oh, it's up there. Hey.
Okay. Okay. Also, Leo's bug should be fixed. I'm sure someone in like 2 weeks. Okay. Maybe we'll wait 2 weeks before we start working on fixing this. Okay, let's see. I would focus on bugs after the main content is done. This at least sounds logical from my perspective. Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's like we need to be careful not to focusing too much on fixing every single issue because yeah, again, like it will also distract us from actually making progress with the content. We have to balance this. I'm slow at these games, so I hope the story gets finished before I get to the first half of the current one. Yeah, well, you see, you need to play very slow then. Is the list of music tracks that will appear in the game already finalized? Have we already heard all of them, or are there still new ones planned? There will be more music actually added to what has been already played. That's something we should have mentioned, but it's also something we kind of like forgot to mention because of all the stress and, you know, too much stuff we had to do. Not only will the Auron Plains get its own theme, there might be another boss theme that we will add later on. In fact, you already heard part of it in the most recent trailer. That's actually supposed to be a new boss theme that our composer is still working on. And this one will be sort of like the mid-boss theme. So we actually use that for some of the encounters you already had in the game. Also, for some of the flashbacks, I would ideally like to actually update the music at some point. And I know this is kind of like the downside. Again, like we try to do things as polished as possible and as complete as possible. But unfortunately, when it came to music, things were just behind too much. So we had to kind of like push out some content that didn't really use the final music. So that's like a little thing that we need to update over time. But yeah, so yeah, there will be more music. That's the short of it. Is there gonna be any missable achievements, like how you could lose the dungeon races in Crosscode? We will try to avoid these this time, because honestly, even the one in Crosscode was sort of by accident. Like it just happened somehow, and in hindsight, I wouldn't have done this because I know that people don't like this kind of stuff where they're forced to, you know, replay the whole game in order to get an achievement. So we will definitely not do this again. Unless I miss something again this time. But at least I don't want to have this. My sister said I'm not allowed to play Alabaster Dawn until I complete Crosscode. Hopefully I will finish it before the 1.0 release. You know, I would think it's likely that you will complete Crosscode before we finish development. Because the reality is the development takes long.
Unless you are about as slow with finishing your games as I am these days.
Hi, Stefan.
Hey, Stefan.
Hello. I'm joining after. Couldn't stay back.
You couldn't stay away from.
I couldn't stay away.
Adoring crowds.
No, from you, Hannah. Obviously.
Oh no. Yeah, I get it. Did we have more? God, so many messages today.
I know it's in the feedback suggestions, but I want to poke and prod a bit. Will we be getting a Divine Sprint animation for Filia? I mean, maybe something I thought about. It's polishing. something I would like to do at the very least is actually make the speed rubber banding for party members a bit stronger, because they tend to fall behind a bit too quickly with navigation, I feel. And yeah, ideally I would like to also give Fidia a divine sprint, because it would, would make more sense. But yeah, it's one of these things where it's a little bit more polishing, so it might actually happen later in development. What is the expected schedule of chapter releasing? 1-2 chapters per year? You will release chapter 1 by 1, or batch them, or sub-chapter release? It's a little bit hard to say right now. We still need to properly plan our release schedule, but you can expect that chapters will come out one after another. So we will likely not... I mean, we might be able to release a bunch of chapters together if we think that it helps for the flow of the story. But that may mean that there won't be any major story update for a longer time, because, a chapter will take some time to wrap up.
Maybe we can do something like we did in Crosscode. I remember in Crosscode we asked the people, democracy. We asked them, like, do you want us to work a little longer, or should we give you this stuff now and then have another story release later?
Yeah, we did this toward the end, where we said, do you want to have another update in between, or is it fine if you just keep working for more than half a year to actually wrap up the game for good? And the majority back then voted for us to just focus on wrapping things up for good. I think we will do something like this likely again, especially towards the end. We might also do it in between if we think that, okay, like something I could imagine, for instance, is that the initial few updates might actually focus on just making new areas available. And then we might do another update that might actually add 2 chapters in terms of story. So not just 1 chapter, but actually 2. So we just have more time to develop the story together and make sure everything is connected properly. It gives us more time to polish this, so we are sure that when we roll it out, it will be probably in a good state. I think this will help us to deliver a better story compared to releasing 1 chapter after the other. So that's something we might consider. But yeah. Actually, will there be an animated tile screen like Crosscode? I absolutely loved how the animation intro. Yeah, we will see. Right now the title screen is a high-res image. I was actually thinking of maybe turning this into pixel art. If we animate it, I think we would have to turn it to pixel art, otherwise it's just too much graphic space. We have some other ideas for the title screen though, beyond animation, so we actually do something else with it over time. But I don't want to spoil anything yet. Is Shirakumo Nagi part of the dev team, or is he the composer that you commissioned for the game? I mean, it's a bit hard. Like, in the end, he's a freelancer, so he's allowed to work for other customers as well, right? So he's not fixed employed, but that's the case for several team members. So I would still consider him part of the team, even though he is kind of like a freelancer, like he's his own company, so to say.
Achoo, I mean.
Okay. I would like to know what kind of things my collection hold other than statistics. There seem to be spot for 5 more things. Yeah, you will find out over time.
I'm mind blown by how the 2D 3D art looks. Any insights to how it works and how it's rendered? Felix, please give us a rundown on the tools.
Quick rundown,
Yeah.
Quick summary, 2 sentences.
Yes. Maybe I can show some stuff again. We have done this a couple of times in the stream. Let's go to Sunderland, for instance. I mean, when it comes to what we do to make it still look 2D, even though it is 3D, it's mostly about preserving pixel size and minimizing pixel rotations and scaling as much as possible. Even though we are not perfectly precise with this, but one good example is always diagonal cliffs. So something you might just do, you could just take a texture like this and, you know, just skew it. Take the same texture and skew it to match a diagonal cliff. And that's something we do not do, because this would kind of hurt the pixel art look, because you would see that the pixels look a little bit strange. They're not rectangular. Currently, they're kind of like skewed in a way. Instead, we do have custom graphics for diagonal cliffs. And every texture is always projected in a way that it stays as close as possible to the pixel grid, even though it will never be perfect, because we do have perspective distortion and all these kind of things. For the side walls, obviously, we cannot do this at all, so we just, you know, mostly use low-res pixel art here, so you don't notice too much that the pixels are squished. But that I think is like the biggest part of why it looks so much like 2D, even though it is 3D. It's mostly doing this. Actually, it makes things a lot harder, because you have to do a lot more custom graphics. For instance, we cannot just take a box and rotate it. That's not allowed. We actually do this for characters moving around with the box, but this is kind of like the exception. For any static geometry, we don't do this, because if you overdo it with this, you'd start to notice. You notice, okay, this actually doesn't look too much like pixel art anymore. It looks more like 3D with pixel art textures. So that's why. So I think that's the biggest part of what makes the pixel art look work. And when it comes to characters, there we are not quite as strict, because there we actually do a lot of rotations. Let's just open Juno. And the animation system is, well, it's a bunch of very small sprites. I mean, if you never ever looked at Crosscode's sprite sheet for Lear, for instance, you remember that it was actually pretty big. And Juno's sprite sheet is actually a lot smaller in comparison. Because the only thing we really need to hand paint a lot is mostly the head. The other body parts, we do have a lot of poses, but they're very small, so they don't really require that much graphic space. And what we do in practice is we just assemble those smaller sprites into the whole character, and then we just rotate them, really. Especially for the arms and the legs, we just rotate the pixels a lot. And you know, this does break the pixel art look, obviously. But on the other hand, it allows us to do very, very fluid animations and like an insane amount of frames for everything that would be just entirely unrealistic if you would hand paint everything. So really here we actually intentionally break the pixel art look a little bit, but in turn you get just very, very fluid animations. And I always like to show one of my favorite animations is like the hammer alt smash. This thing, if you just go to, yeah, another advantage of this is we can actually swap up weapons dynamically. So weapon skins are actually realistic this time. I'm not promising right now that we will have weapon skins, just saying that they're realistic. So
I want to be very clear.
Yeah. But yeah, as you can see, this is how it looks like. And the cool thing about this is whenever we make a frame like this, we just get the rotations for free. And now the funny thing about the system is the closer you look at it, you start noticing all the small issues. But if you just play the game and you zoom out, it works so well in practice that it's essentially fine. So this system is a lot about, you know, just optimizing things for the perception that you actually have as a player. So there's actually a lot of small little things that might be broken. For instance, here, see that, okay, now here the hair is behind the torso a little bit. Small stuff like this always happens with our system. But usually you don't notice, especially in motion, you don't. And when it happens for specific frames, we can always tweak things to make things look better. And yeah. But yeah, what you get is an attack that has a total of 113 frames. So you wouldn't be able to do this by just hand painting pixel art. Because this is not just 113, it's like 113 times 16 frames. So yeah, that's like, it's essentially just an attempt to merge the advantage of skeletal animations with pixel art. And yeah, this is what we have here. Okay. What's the next game you plan on making, and when will it release? It's okay. Yeah, well, the only thing I can say already is that next time we do a game, I don't want to recreate the new engine. I actually would like to keep using this one for once. Because,
Felix,
yeah,
I have something funny to say about that.
Hmm?
Imagine the next game, it will be a smaller game.
Yeah, maybe. Maybe we actually do that. Maybe we actually start creating.
Maybe this time actually.
Yeah, maybe for real. I'm
Hey,
convinced.
I'm writing something up on the side.
Okay.
So we can see, like, you know, if that's something we can do. But let's finish this one first.
Yeah, obviously, yeah. Mm.
Crosscode boomer shooter win.
Well, it's time to start documenting those and posting them to the bug forum. That's not probably a good idea. Yeah, what a bit of Bailey says. Like, another advantage of the system is that we can move body parts dynamically, and there's even more. Something that you may not even notice immediately. But the character actually skews when you run, when you turn. You can see that when you really slow down the game. Let me turn off the music.
Play with a controller. It's easier to see.
Yeah, that's true. Let me see if my controller actually works. I just recently switched the batteries, so it could be fine.
I'd love if you, instead of new games, we just have DLCs for the
so,
two games.
when I go slow motion, you can see it better. But when I turn, you can see how Juno's actually tilting sideways a little bit.
Can you maximize?
I can do that. So, and that's another advantage. Essentially, we can just take the whole skeleton that we use internally and just skew the whole thing slightly. As long as it's just subtle stuff like this, it works really well with our system. Obviously, we cannot just take the whole thing and turn it around. At least not for every character, because like the graphics are optimized for certain perspectives only. But you know, small stuff like this, and you tend to notice when it's like very subtle, but when you turn it off, you actually start to notice that it looks more static, and now it looks actually, you know, you can really see how the character is kind of leaning into the direction he's running and all that. But yeah, that's another advantage of having this animation system. I suppose there won't be any DLs for Crosscode. What is DL? DLCs?
Yeah, probably. No, there won't be.
So yeah, we wrapped up crosscode development pretty much now. I mean, we can never say never. Like maybe at some point, for whatever reason, we decide to do something in the cross universe again. But for now, the focus is somewhere else. Crosscode's MMO as DLC. Yeah, no, we will probably never do an MMO. I think.
Yeah.
Too much work, too small people.
How close is the AA to the current main dev branch? It's almost identical, but there is some content in the game that you can already go into, which is not accessible in the early access version. So, and some stuff is actually developed ahead quite a bit, specifically when it comes to graphics. We do have a couple enemies that are already there, and like the figures are there, the animations are there. Some of them are already implemented, some still need to be implemented. So we actually did work ahead into some, like a lot of stuff. Famously, you saw some areas in the trailer that are not part of the game. There's like the mountain area. This one. So we do have this style of map already there, right? Not too many maps, to be honest, but we will get there. We have the swamp, which will be part of the next release. You also saw that one already in the trailers. This one is already quite... this is already... A lot of stuff is already mapped here. So this is mostly about, you know, polishing stuff, adding more enemies, or any enemies at all, honestly.
Yeah, but the good thing is we already have a lot of enemies for the swamp. I mean, maybe not polished, but...
Yeah, I mean, 2 enemies still need to be implemented entirely. But...
Right.
We even have the item graphics for the forageables in that area.
Yeah, like the forageables are already pretty much finished for the swamp. So yeah, a lot of stuff is already implemented. But yeah. Also still stuff missing. What's your goal with the roguelike content? Are you looking to make it expansive enough to last the whole game, or is it just a moment in time for fun? Maybe you can answer this one better, Stefan.
Yeah. Yeah, we're gonna develop further into this. Like, you will be able to go deeper, you know. Maybe you already see a pattern in that each floor represents an area you have already visited. That will keep going on. It's less about the Hades formula and really going as deep as you want in the end. Obviously now you can't, you know, now it's more like these 3 layers and then you're done. There will be more powers. There are a couple more room ideas that we have. You know, run modifiers specifically to make it harder for you. You know, there's technically, this is more born of that idea of what we internally call nightmares, basically, right? Like the heat system in Hades, for instance. Something you might already do is, you know, you can disable perks for yourself, you know, and like with nightmare runs, we can also do that. We can forcefully disable certain perks, you know, and then this will make the run harder, you know. Like one easy thing would be, one of the most powerful perks right now is the heal room perk, right? That just gives you a lot of stuff, and you can buff it by just, you know, using buffs outside of the dream. But, you know, imagine a run where you have to try to go as deep with like this nightmare turned on that you do not have heal rooms. And then in turn you get more shards, you know, and these shards are then converted to tokens again. There's also more perks in the work. Not sure if there's anything in particular. Like one perk that I can already say is one that you start with a power. So when you join into the dream, you immediately get a choice of a power. That is one that's actually technically already there. Just need to add the UI there. But there is one idea. We had an early idea where you had like a perk that increased your chart gain, but basically that would only give you a flat bonus, and I felt that was a little bit too boring of a perk, like for a perk that was kind of too simple. So what I'm thinking right now is maybe a perk that instead of like you can choose a power or you can cash out shards instead, you know, and we have a way to calculate the cost of a shard based on your depth and all these things. But I'm already looking at like what people say if people think things are too easy or too hard. Currently, I see both. People saying, "Whoa, it's pretty difficult," and people are saying, "Oh, it's so easy."
Maybe it's in a good level right now.
So maybe it's in a good place, you know. But I'm specifically looking like, are things in the shop too expensive? Are they too cheap? You know, like because they shouldn't be too cheap, because you always have this idea of, do I risk not gaining another power? I already saw some people saying one certain power is too strong, so maybe nerf that one. And also, if you guys have ideas for powers, you know, leave them in the feedback in the Discord. You know, search for it. Maybe someone else has already made a feedback request, and then give it up and updink. You know, the more updinks it gets, the more likely we'll probably look at it, right?
Yeah, actually, when it comes to rogue powers, because most of them are actually not a huge workload, so we might actually consider a lot of ideas here and try out some things. So if you have any cool ideas for powers, just, you know, just make an entry. Kendall is here saying, hi Kendall, what's your goal with the roguelike? Oh, you made that. I just read this one. I just didn't see the name. God dang it. This seems like the future of Pixar games. I love how it looks. The 3D elements make things pop. Thank you so much. The Dark Souls poison swamp. Yeah, I don't think there will be too much poison here, but yeah, it's a swamp. Why not just hire another person if that's what's stopping you from making MMO? A lot of people would play it, and I mean the thing is you do need more than a person to make an MMO usually, and if it's only one person that can do it, it's probably a very expensive person.
You mean for the MMO? Okay.
It's probably a very expensive.
Another question: how much of the 30 megabyte of JavaScript is procedurally generated? None of it.
None of it.
Well, not 100%. We do have some type decorations, but those.
Oh yeah.
Those are generated from our tools.
Those are from tools, and internally we have actually something that I came up with is actually completely mostly useless, but it helps me sometimes. Is that we generate the keys from like key-based databases, and we create a TypeScript file that is just a type with all the keys in it.
Yeah, but
and so in code.
Yeah, but the thing is, it's not part of JavaScript because it's only types, right? So we can actually say that zero of the JavaScript is procedure generated. We actually, up to this point, we don't really use AI for coding at all. We are very, you could say, old-fashioned, but I like to say I just appreciate a code base that I fully understand. So we don't do a lot of.
I appreciate a code base that works.
I appreciate a code base that I can change if it doesn't work.
Yeah, I mean, you can do that with an AI code base too. It's just probably not a good experience.
Does the engine you've created automatically show optimal paths for reachable distance for jumps, or do you use some kind of helper markers? For jumps, we have like a navigation. I mean, Felix, this is an answer question for you.
What was it?
By Osu.
Oh wow, that's why further down. There's still a couple above that.
Okay, sorry.
Let me just go through the list. What version system are you using? We are using Git. We actually use GitHub. We keep using it until they throw us out, I guess, but so far things have been working. Crosscode is also 100% on GitHub. It's a private repo, but yeah, it's all GitHub, yeah.
What could go wrong?
How much of the main quest dialogue would you say is already written? We do have a very good idea about what the story will be, but when it comes to dialogues, there's not too much stuff rewritten, because in Crosscode we also didn't do this. We mostly just write stuff when we get close to implementing things, mostly because it just helps us to get a better idea of the context, and because it's just how we work in the end. So there's some key scenes where we have some writing, which is actually something we didn't have in Crosscode. But for the most part, we just write as we get to the part that we need to implement. So.
But the story beats are sort of planned as well, like the direction and everything.
What are other strong points Crosscode had that Alabaster Dawn is inheriting? I mean, we hope that
a great menu.
Yeah, a great menu, obviously.
Good quest design.
Yeah,
Good
a big word with a lot of stuff to explore. Yeah, creative quests. A lot of
a food system in some way.
Well, I mean, the food system, I hope, is better than Alabaster.
It's very different. Yeah.
It's very different for sure. But yeah. Oh yeah, there's a question, boss variety in Rogue-like too. There was already the idea to have alternative boss fights.
Yeah.
It's definitely something we can do. I wasn't sure about this, to be honest, because I thought maybe it's good that people know exactly which boss they fight. But I think maybe the randomness might actually would make things a bit more interesting. So people cannot optimize too much to one specific boss fight.
And I mean, you can always have like optional extra bosses maybe, but yeah, I mean, having like...
We can connect this to a nightmare thing. For instance, that like a nightmare mode enables certain stronger bosses or just makes them more likely. Something like this. I mean, to be frank, I mean, when we talk about the first boss, you could have the Wasp, the easiest boss in the whole game. Or you could have I would argue even the Spider is probably more difficult. Or you could have, the Flower Mid boss. Or you could have the the Challenger. The Challenger.
I mean, the Challenger would definitely be a nice extra boss to have, or like an alternative boss that is harder. I mean, sure. But I mean, I think we could and should also consider somehow implementing the quest bosses into the roguelike form.
Yeah, that's
seeing puzzles in roguelike. Very interesting question. Something we definitely had planned, something we tried, and something we decided against in the end.
I mean, it depends. Like something we did we did try some very basic parkour thing where you just have some jumping thing, which is a bit more tricky, and it turned out to be very annoying very quickly. But there's still something I would like to try. I think the biggest issue of having those things is if you have to keep doing them just to get through the room. This very quickly gets annoying. But we could still try to do some, pretty simple puzzle stuff that is just there to get something. And if you don't want to, you can just run through
like an end room. Right, like an end room
it could be an end room. Could also be a walkthrough room. Just need to design it in a certain way, really. But yeah, it's that's something I might still try, but
I feel like it would make more sense. Yeah, like okay, we tried platforming already, but like some hazards based stuff, for example.
Hazards based stuff might be better, but even there, I would also be careful of doing something that you have to walk through over and over again. I think that's
definitely you should. I mean, I would just make it in a way that the hazards get deactivated once you clear it.
Yeah, something like this.
Which is very easy to do with hazards.
Like, that's how hazards are designed.
I mean, even with like platforming rooms, you could just beat it once, and then some platforms appear that makes the traversal trivial. That would also be an option.
Okay. So we need more grass heads in Alabaster. Yeah, I guess we don't have too many grass heads right now. Okay, here's another question. I'm not sure if this is the right question to ask, but I'm wondering, with such a large number of maps, how do you keep track of where the player can jump to higher platforms with the correct height and distance? Does the
It's the one I was thinking of earlier. Yeah.
I think the answer is we don't. Because that's how people can keep escaping, can get into stuff they're not supposed to. I mean, that's just that's kind of like the curse of how we designed the game, is that the game allows you to get everywhere. We just need to very carefully design stuff in a way that they can't do this all the time everywhere, and that's just a tricky thing.
Yeah, usually I go, I create like outside puzzles, like you see right now on Felix's map. You know, there are some jumping paths, and then our internal testers, I'm thinking like, this is pretty stable. There's no way to jump around, and then our testers go ahead and absolutely destroy everything.
Yeah. It always happens. And I like this
it
one.
Always happens.
I'm on for this map here, this island map. This is one that I did, and I tried really hard to make it in a way that it's hopefully safe and people cannot skip around, and people just found a way to jump in here. Like, they just jumped up here somewhere and just over and just went into the last fight right from the beginning. So it's it was broken. Like, it's always broken usually. That's why testing is actually very important for our game, so that we find most of these issues. That's why speedrunners are our friend, because they're very good at finding these things, I feel.
Yep. Sorry guys if we're skipping over some questions. They're coming in a lot.
Yeah, I think we need to hurry up a little bit.
Today, like
weapons level will always be about adding attack patterns. You can't have a lot of weapons level this way. No, we will add more. I mean, in fact, there will not be too many new attack combo styles beyond what you have seen in the game so far. Additional levels will be more about making those attacks more powerful or extending them slightly in a way. There's some ideas we have there. And there's like a whole nother system that will be added on top of this that you will unlock using skill points. But it's not like you will get a lot more combat options like combat arts, because simply there's not too many input methods we can use here.
You will get more divine arts, of course.
Yeah, I mean, obviously divine arts are a different thing, but talking about weapons, there will not be like a whole lot more moves. The idea here was actually that we wanted people to unlock those moves relatively quickly, so they have something fun to play with. But if you just continue this kind of adding more moves thing, I think it will just end with too many moves anyway, so I think it might be too much in the end. So really it will be more about making certain moves more powerful, specifically the ones that you prefer. And yeah,
depth over breadth.
Yeah, pretty much.
Breath, like.
But sometimes you need to take a breath.
Yeah. Can we expect a large skill tree similar to Crosscode? Not as large as the one in Crosscode, like you mean the element ones, not as large as this. But the one you see in the demo right now, it's not the full one.
Yeah,
it's gonna get expanded. A little bit bigger. Yeah. Doing stories same time with the Rogue-lite mode had in the inspiration from Secrets of Grindia. I would say Secrets of Grindia is one of the inspirations. When I thought it was a nice idea to like bridge the early access gap. But my personal main like want for the roguelike idea was like, people supported us throughout Crosscode, and it was a long early access. Haha, Leia, I know it's funny, but the people always had to wait for like content, and I wanted something like hey, you can play this, you can try out this while waiting. Yeah. And give a little bit back to the community, like for supporting us,
Kendo said that I can make a good point about like the perks being aspect specific, and I mean I've read this here and there that people say that there's currently like it always makes sense to focus on Ether because there's actually nothing weak against Ether right now. And I mean I had this talk with Hannah like shortly before the release as well, and maybe that's something we will tweak. There were like some reasons why I didn't want to have enemies specifically strong against Ether. Mostly, no, it was much more. Yeah, it was. Let me think. What was it again? I didn't want people to be forced to use Ether.
Oh, you mean neutral?
Neutral, yeah. Sorry, Physis. Now that I'm talking about this, I don't know. I think Physis was supposed to be kind of like the neutral element. Like when you assign a weapon to it, it works against every kind of enemy. No, now I know what it is. The thing is, I wanted to avoid weakness of weapon and element types as much as possible. The game right now actually doesn't have this. It doesn't have any single enemy that's weak against an element and a weapon. It's either element or weapon. And the idea is I wanted to keep things simple so people are not forced to use a certain weapon with an element. That was specifically because before, at the beginning, for a long time, we didn't have the loadouts. And people really had to choose one weapon for an element and that's it. They couldn't switch it. And if you then would add an enemy that would be, for instance, weak against the hammer, but also weak against Ether, or like strong against Ether, that means you would have to have the hammer for the neutral element, for the Physis element. And some people may just have the sword, so you had to switch weapons. Now with the loadout system, it's actually a lot more feasible to do this. So I'm thinking of maybe we'll actually start doing this at least somewhat. I would still be careful not to overdo it, but I think the intuition I would have is enemies, specifically enemies that are, tend to be weak against the hammer. I feel for those you would kind of intuitively assume, since they are, very solid and specifically stone-like enemies. I feel you can see, okay, those might actually be strong against Ether. Because if you think about a stone, there's not too much current you can put through it, right? So, that would be kind of intuitive. So we might actually start doing this. So that means there might be a point to the neutral element. There might be more of a point to the Physis element as we continue. For instance, like the Baukau, I might consider giving like a bit strength against Ether. So it's actually easier, like more effective to fight the Baukau with neutral. I think that's kind of like a good enemy to where we could start doing this. And yeah, I think that's just the biggest issue right now. There's no point of not using Ether because things are always like everything is there's only certain enemies that are strong against, like less vulnerable against Physis, but there's never an enemy that's less vulnerable against Ether right now. So that's the issue right here.
Right. Felix, I have an idea that everyone will like.
Yes.
Elemental overload for everything but Physis. Everyone will
that's obviously the thing, yeah. Why not just hire another? Okay, we already answered this MMO question.
Why not just hire a footmasser?
Yeah, I mean,
Kudos not resorting to invisible walls. Yeah, I mean, we kind of did that in Crosscode with the like quote-unquote track that would constrain you. But it was kind of our answer to invisible walls. But yeah, we try to avoid them when we can. And in certain situations, maybe Fix, can you toggle the top layer and show like we have like this top layer functionality which automatically adds
there's not too much stuff here,
collision.
But yeah, I can hear.
And you can basically only everything that's violet, you can shoot through it, but Juno can't pass through it. Yeah. And this helps. And also everything that's violet is still rendered into the overworld map. If it's red, for instance, like we actually render out each map as an image And so everything purple has collision, but is still rendered. Everything red is not rendered and cannot be, is also collision. And that helps a lot, because you can just press fill, and then it fills all the areas you don't want people to go in. But sometimes we forget it, especially if we were doing the details, changing something in the map, you always forget to adjust the top layers all the time. It happens.
Yeah.
But it's very easily fixed, thankfully.
Yeah. Another question by Kendall on sprite sheets. Are all characters pretty much one structure that you swap sprite sheets for? Like, would Filia be able to do what Juno does if the sprite sheet had the elements? I mean, kinda. Our animation system is like, we just have to make sure that we have consistent naming conventions for our skeletons, which we do. We can actually copy over animations and they roughly work. Not perfectly, because of when there's a big size difference, it might just be broken. But it's something that you can easily tweak, but we can actually reuse.
I think we do that for our NPCs actually. A lot of the NPCs animations are
essentially
often
the same.
copied over.
Yeah. But sometimes we also need to tweak them. Again, like we kind of have to categorize it by size a little bit. But most animations transition pretty well. Okay. Is the roguelike mode inspired by Lufia too? I mean, yeah, a little bit. I mean, I always thought about like the Ahnenhöhle. What's an English name? I don't know.
Cave, literally.
What?
Ancient cave.
Ancient cave, yeah. Writing dialogue
Would there
is
be
a
more
friend
party
we make
members?
along the way,
Yes.
yeah. Will there be more
There
party
will be more.
members? The picnic carpet when you rest looks like it has room for 4. Oh, well, we don't want to spoil too much, but you can I want to at least say there will be more than Filia, right? So there will be at least one more party member. Let's say it like this.
At least one more.
Did you all use dynamic threshold track podcasting in the backend design?
What? Dynamic threshold track podcasting. What?
What is that?
Are you just saying random words?
It sounds like random words. What is this? Will the story be as spoiler heavy as Crosscode? It will have a couple of big twists, yeah. So we need to be careful about this. We have a lot of things planned, yeah. Been following Alabaster since the first teaser as Project Terror. It's really wonderful seeing how far it's come. Thank you. We got a subscription by Prime as well from Uplinked DXD.
Oh, thank you very much.
Uplinked XD, thank you. Who in the team makes the pixel art? Cause it's incredible. I mean, there's several people, but most of it is, a lot of it is done by Thomas. Let's say it like this. A lot of it is also done by Martina. She's doing a lot of stuff, mostly environment art. Fabrice is helping us freeze. I also do some of the pixar, but not as much as I did for Crosscode, I have to say. Doing that pixar.
Yeah, same. I do a lot of the menu stuff.
Yeah.
You see, I'm very proud of. Some I'm proud of, some, well, I'm thankful we have artists.
Okay. So, I like the cooking system. It makes it exciting to find plants in a way that you didn't get with Crosscode, where it was like, oh, I guess this is used for getting a spice set. I'm very happy to hear this, actually. I'm still want to see how exactly the cooking system will be received, but it seems people are using it. I mean, we kind of forced them into using it, so... I mean, we really thought hard about how we can make people use those items and those boosts, right? So okay, I was playing the early access. So far, my favorite ranged weapon is the chakram, and my favorite melee weapon is the chakram. Well, I guess, yeah. Chakram is kind of like the melee. I'm actually kind of happy that people like using the chakram. Initially, I was actually concerned that it doesn't have too much, especially like the auto attacks, that it doesn't have like this auto target thing that the crossbow has, because that seemed to be very popular, but I think that was also because it was simply overpowered. But it seems that people also like the chakram, so that's great. Because not every ranged weapon will have this kind of auto-target, shoot at something thing that the crossbow has. But I will make at least sure that 50% will have them. Do you have any thoughts on the archipelago of crossbow multi-word randomizer, and would you be open to implementing features to Alabaster Dawn down the line to make it easier for randomizers? Totally understand super post release. What?
I don't think we're familiar with that, at least I'm not.
Yeah, if that's a modding question,
I don't know. The
that
archipelago of crosscode multi-word randomizer, is that some kind of mod that has been implemented some time ago or recently?
Let me just check the
I don't
modding
fully follow crosscode mod development. Sometimes I see stuff and I'm always impressed about what people are doing. It's actually quite kind of insane. But yeah, when it comes to mod stuff, it's always stuff for the future. We did structure our game in a way that should make things easier for modders here and there.
Yeah.
But yeah, in the end, it's not really, our game is not really designed around this too much.
I'm just searching in the mod Discord, and I'm seeing stuff like including support for devlink, an archipelago feature where every time someone in any world dies, everyone else dies. What is that? What is...
Okay.
That's...
my gosh, this sounds yeah.
Sounds very hardcore, but I can't really tell you much about it. I don't. Maybe we should do some dev stream interview with some modding expert for CrossCode, so he can give us a rundown.
Okay, Ace is asking again the backend question 2 times.
I mean, use track broadcasting. Probably because we're just
the thing.
We're slow.
Yeah, I mean, no, it's yeah, because we're slow. But also, what backend? Our game is single player. There is no backend. There's only a front end.
Yeah, no backend.
Except maybe for the analytics system. There's some kind of backend there. Yeah. And our analytics system is actually currently unusable because we have too many stats. It's not optimized. We need to optimize our analytics so we can use it.
Analytics system suffering from success.
Yeah, just so to say.
I can. I did take a course in databases 1 and 2. I can try to optimize.
Yeah, it's. My hope is at some point Parisa can work on this again. Because she did it, so Parisa, she can clean it up.
Onigai. Parisa Kami-sama.
Challenge room with puzzle instead of hard fight. Hey. Nah. I don't know. You cannot replace a combat challenge with puzzles, I think. Can I have a tablet to sit on, please? A table, sorry. A table. We'll see. Maybe there will be people sitting on tables. I'm still thinking about adding something. At least we have the technical foundation is there. We have tables. We have people sitting on things. We just need to put one and one together, and there we go. It's too
magic.
It's too, how you say, it's a low-hanging fruit to do this.
Yeah, that's true. How data-oriented is our engine? It is somewhat data-oriented, yes. It is more than crosscode for sure. I mean, even crosscode was there. Like, do you mean like in sense of like, do we have like multiple classes for each enemies? But that's not obviously, we don't have that. We have like one enemy component, and then the rest is in data. I'm always confused by the data question.
Beta testing to find 90% of out of bounds and skips, and then early access to find the other 90% of that beta testing missed. Yeah, pretty much.
I mean, there were still quite a lot of out of bounds. that slipped through, but
People will always find a way to break games.
Yeah, I mean, otherwise speedrunning would be boring, I feel.
That's true.
Hello, I was wondering about the puzzle design process. Do you start working directly on the scene directly and slowly iterate on an idea, or do you reach the old-fashioned pen and paper and draw topology over there? Also, how do you verify their resolvability? Painstakingly testing it using craft traversal technique, maybe something else. Also,
Whoa.
and more importantly,
So
congratulations
advanced.
on the release. Absolutely, Abby. Thank you.
Thank you.
So we do not use pen and paper. We always create maps and sketch the ideas in game. In my opinion, it's very, very hard to estimate if a puzzle works and is fun by just sketching things. Specifically, if things get more 3D. It's a lot, and puzzle design is a lot, in my opinion, about details, about how things are visible, or how about things are structured, just reducing friction points. And you can only do this by, obviously you need to start with an idea, but it's like, for instance, the last puzzle I did was like this one optional puzzle in that you find near the Soulgate Bridge down this elevator. And this one was, I had this idea of doing like a Nyx power orb and this ether orb in parallel. So this was the idea. But everything else I just played around and tried out things and see what works and what didn't work. And that's how I ended up with this puzzle. So usually I always start with like a very simple idea, and then I just try out stuff until it works in practice. Yeah, no craft traversal techniques or anything like this. I mean, I'm not even sure with our physics how this would be feasible. That's also why a lot of the puzzles do have unintended solutions. Usually I try to avoid those, but I mean, when people are very skilled, they might still find ways to solve the puzzles in unintended ways.
It's one of my favorite things to do in Breath of the Wild or Tears of the Kingdom. You know, you can always see what the developers wanted, and then you try to, how can I break this? But in those games, they kind of designed it that way, right?
Yeah,
it's kind
that's
of
what I wanted to say. I think those games are really designed about, getting creative, finding unique solutions to solve a problem. And I would argue it's kind of like just a different approach to puzzle design. Our game is much more closer to, traditional Zelda in that sense, where you have a puzzle, there's this solution, that's the solution. You gotta find that solution. And there's pros and cons to both of these methods, obviously. And probably a matter of taste which one you prefer. I personally, I loved Breath of the Wild, but not so much the dungeons, I have to say, because I kind of sometimes it was so much about, just trying things until it kind of worked, and it never felt quite as satisfying to me, at least. But I do know a lot of people love it this way, so obviously.
I do.
No, but it's more like a sandbox, right?
Yeah, it's more like a
these
sandbox.
Both games. Okay, again, did you all use dynamic when casting, or were the volumetric ratios incoherent with the gameplay? You're just adding more random words.
What is this? Are you
volumetric
ratios? I
ratios?
have to ask if you're a bot or if you actually know what you're working on. Those are weird questions.
I'm not even seeing
sorry.
I'm not even seeing.
Is this about a rendering, maybe? Volumetric, something rendering?
Track podcasting in the backend design, or were the volumetric ratios incongruent with the gameplay system? What gameplay systems?
Huh? There it is.
Yeah, those are just words.
Track podcasting. What is dynamic threshold track podcasting? I'm a bit.
By the way, you'll be happy to hear that early access world record is now about 50 minutes. No fucking way.
Nice.
Yeah, well, I guess.
So this is probably you're skipping ahead to some kind of plot trigger.
I mean, this is thanks to our nice plot system where you just have to do some stuff and you just automatically fast forward all the quests and everything. I mean, okay, CrossCode had the same, to be honest. It was just...
In a way, yeah.
It was just...
Yeah, if you would ever go
variable.
back, though, you would probably have...
It might
a lot
have
more,
weird
like,
stuff happening.
Alabaster Dawn is a little bit more consistent in that way. Like
I
You
wonder
just do the
if-
thing and suddenly everything is back in nature. This might
Yeah.
actually
I wonder-
happen. You just do something, the plot is switched,
Yeah,
you
right.
change map, everything's nature. This would happen
Everything's
actually.
nature. It's like
Yeah.
fast. You didn't even need to sleep for a week.
No,
or
it
so.
just happened.
I wonder if the speedruns also involve keeping Damon somehow, like
Oh,
how
boy.
some demos saved.
Yeah, some people resetted the demo and suddenly there were Damon in the game. It was, yeah. Because that was always reset, even if you didn't play through the prologue. So, just ordered the physical version of CrossCode. This will be the third version of the game I own. Please send help. You can still order physical versions of CrossCode? Is that possible? Oh boy.
Vincent just said he actually used to use pen and paper to sketch out doing the internship. Yeah, Felix said the editor allows us. Yeah, the editor is very capable in letting you test things very quickly.
Paper,
Especially since what we can do is like, while the editor is currently open, you can start a map and test the map, and then when you make changes, you just press F4 again, and that will automatically reload the map in the different window, and you can test it.
Anyone found a replacement for JADC yet? I mean, there was one for in the demo at least, but we kind of fixed that one with the vapor thrust.
Yeah, there's a different one with starting aim and stuff like that. It's much more difficult, or like
Oh,
at
yeah,
least
yeah,
a little
yeah,
bit more
that's true.
difficult to pull off.
Candace
Yeah,
says
I'm
that he think about like the perks. Like the issue is that perks connected to elements is that there's no point in getting physics perks because ether is so much more useful against most of the boss enemies. I mean, this is about nothing being strong against ether, which is something that we might change. So once we start doing this, because if you go with weapons, you get into similar issues, to be honest, because for instance, you're very likely to prefer improving your sword because slash is more effective against the mole-line boss, which is a tricky boss. And again, so you optimize for this boss, so you always try to get like slash abilities.
Yeah.
And
yeah, go on first.
but yeah, so I think switching is to weapons, and the problem about weapons is there's a lot of weapons. The good thing about elements is there's just 4 of them. Weapons, there's at least 8. There might be more. Not promising, but at least our game is designed in a way that it's possible. That's why it was an obvious choice to connect it to elements. And again, like I think if we start making boss encounters more random and also adding enemies that are actually strong against ether, I feel things will become more balanced in a way automatically. So I'm not too much concerned about this personally. And in the end, I think it's not like you need to focus on one element entirely, and like it's later you have 2 more elements, and then obviously you need to kind of like always prioritize certain elements, and you probably will do this depending on what you think you will need more in the future. But yeah.
By the way, we got like a really good video in our Discord in the spoilers channel. Someone, let's say, posted a concept or proof of concept of like a JADC replacement, but it looks pretty tool assisted.
Which?
Anyway, it's the video in Alabaster spoilers by Trev.
By Trev, okay. Oh boy. What is this metal thing? Is this...
I have no idea.
Oh boy. God damn it.
But yeah, if you are inhuman, you can pull that off, yeah.
Yeah.
And get further. But if you do it like that, you know, I would consider it cheating if you slow down the game like that on purpose. Because this isn't even slowing down frames, you know, this is like a slowdown in terms of like slowing down the game.
Yeah, it does look pretty weird. It's like not.
Yeah, I knew I would regret this feature. Dang it, that's too many questions. I need to hurry up about answering stuff. I mean, as I suspect, he will not do a lot of development today. Maybe too technical of a question, but why did you guys decide to continue using web technology instead of native Tesh? Very interesting to me. Because we know web-tesh well. Going back to native comes with a couple of downsides, like you need to compile things. It's a lot harder to compile native Tesh. We need to be able to write native Tesh. Actually, writing JavaScript and TypeScript is a lot faster in many ways. So there's a lot of upsides to it. Obviously, a lot of downsides too. But in the end, we just wanted to stay to things we know. Hello, just wanted to drop by and say you're doing an amazing job. Thank you. Plot twist. Juno is Leia. Who knows? Maybe. Are you
Don't give him ideas. No, that's not true, guys.
Are you aiming for a complex story or should we expect something on a simpler? It will be a complex story.
Yes.
I know people think it's like just a chosen story, but it's not. I mean, if you really look closely to what's happening in the early access version, there's a lot of hints. I'm just afraid. I think we are being too subtle, and people just miss stuff. But I think, I mean, it's
I think in the end, when people play it, like if they would play it for a second time, you know, or watch a recap video of it after done, you know, like I do this all the time when I play story games. I watch a video on a like summary or something.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh yeah, now it all comes together. Like nice foreshadowing, you know.
I mean, yeah. I mean, in fact, I would argue Alabaster's story is actually more complex compared to Crosscode's. Specifically, it will have more twists and more things happening here and there. Crosscode had like this very, very powerful story moment. And I'm actually not sure we will be able to beat this personally. I'm a little bit concerned. I'm pretty sure Alabaster will have a lot of powerful moments too. But I feel compared to Crosscode, Alabaster will have hopefully better pacing. Because Crosscode had like this very intense chapter and then there was Gaia's Garden. And before that, there was also not too much stuff. So there was like, there was like, okay, MMO gameplay, people talking, having fun. People actually enjoyed that because they just like the characters. But there was not too much story development. And then there was like a couple of moments where a lot of story happened all of a sudden. A lot of exposition, a lot of things explained. Then there was like chapter 6 in Crosscode. All the stuff happened, very powerful thing. And then you're back into the MMO. And then you have the final again. So a lot of people criticize this because it's like, you know, cool stuff happened, then suddenly there's nothing. And in that regard, I think we will do a better job as Alabaster Dawn. I'm pretty sure. But yeah, in the end, it's always... Story is always tricky. Like I read some comments like this story that we've done so far is like horrible. That it's like we just lost the skill of doing good stories apparently compared to Crosscode.
I feel like it's always like people being immediately like nostalgia hits, compare nostalgia Crosscode versus the new thing, you know.
People play the thing where we say it's 20% and they act, if that's the story 20% already, then this has to be the worst. Like the first 20% of Crosscode had like this amazing story intro. I mean, you didn't even get like
remember
the first,
guys,
remember the story
Autumn's.
Yeah, I mean the amazing stuff that happened in Bergen and Autumn's Rise. That was peak storytelling. You remember the province? No.
Remember the province, guy?
I mean, come on, please, guys.
I mean, what even happened? Think about it.
Nothing.
Nothing happened. I mean, of course, the side quest stories were like top notch, but
Yeah, obviously it is.
No, of course.
Okay,
I
I
mean,
have probably a
remember
weird
yeah,
question. The
remember the
religions garments from the first settlement give me vibes of that mysterious narrative group with the turquoise clothing framed with golden ornaments all the way back to Festival. Did that happen randomly? Yeah, that happened randomly. That's actually true. It does look like some Featherball designs, but that's coincidence.
That's actually content.
I
Like
never
Felix
used.
didn't design.
I never pulled all the designs during
Yeah.
any art discussions.
if you think it's a Featherball reference, then it's most likely a coincidence because it's super old and we barely.
When the soundtrack release on YouTube? It's already on YouTube. I played it. Look here. It is. Just Google
Okay,
Alabaster.
if you don't stop, we're gonna ban you, alright? You had your fun, now chill.
Huh? AC. Does AC even... Wait. Have you all considered hiding pixelated news as Easter eggs? This what? What are these questions? Okay. Okay. Oh, that was actually another Ace question. Okay, that makes sense. my idea is that Ace is a bot. I mean, at least that's my theory right now. Do you use the cooking system? But it took me a while to figure there were separate tabs. Could be noted in the tutorial, as I don't think it is. The problem is in the tutorial you only have one dish, so there's no tabs.
Yeah, you only have one dish.
Yeah.
But what I can do, this is something I actually wanted to implement as well, is give you a new dot on the tabs as well. And then when you like snap to the tab, it goes away.
I think that might help. If these people see those dots, they might notice things. Yeah.
Yeah, that's something I've been thinking about, and hopefully that helps a little bit.
Okay, people reacted to the chakram that I talked about like an hour ago. The composition, okay. How different the track and the cross-field motor. I wonder whether working with sound in HTML has any limitations and if it needs to meet specific requirements. I don't know because I didn't work with sounds in other engines, but I could imagine that there's some quirks you have to deal with when working with sounds. I mean, honestly, web audio gives you a lot of options, but it has a lot of weird things, this API. Like one thing I always like, something that I still don't quite understand is, but you do have those gain nodes, right? Those gain nodes, you can use them to control the volume. You can make them fade. You can specify, okay, now transition the volume from say 1 to 0 over the next 2 seconds. You can schedule those transitions. And now something that happens, and this must be according to the specification because nobody ever fixed this. And I think that's the case for all the browsers. But if you don't play any sounds going through those gain nodes while the transition happening, the transition is not applied. You wouldn't notice because you don't hear anything, right? But that also means that after the transition is over, the gain node actually does not have to find a value of that transition. So if you transition from 1 to 0, and doing this transition, you don't play any sounds. When this transition is over, the volume is still 1. Who thought this would be expected? Like, who thought this would make sense? This is just dumb. Honestly, this is just the worst. Like, web audio has these kind of things, and I don't know. It's horrible. I mean, from an implementation standpoint, I can see it's easier to implement stuff because you can just ignore the code when nothing is playing and just ignore it, right?
At least, you know, if they think there's an optimization, at least give us the option to skip the optimization, you know?
Yeah, something like this. Or like, it's not like this would be so hard to just, you know, make sure that at the end of the transition, just reset the value and be done with it. No, but I actually had to like do this by hand essentially. Just checking the transition is over and then I forced the volume to a certain value at the end. Anyway, shout to modders who made the other classes in Crosscode and PvP. Yeah, you can play all classes now in Crosscode. Okay, how is the game's sale and reception holding up to everyone's expectations? Better, worse, as expected? I didn't know exactly what to expect, but so far things are actually going quite well. I mean, it's definitely selling a lot better than Crosscode did when we released early access, which makes sense. But I think it might even perform better than Crosscode during release, which is insane, actually. So, yeah.
To be fair, that was after quite a few years of early access, but still, yeah, it's still pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, people say that, but the Crosscode release was a lot bigger than the early access launch again. So
true.
It was quite a lot bigger. So I mean, yeah, it's definitely going well enough. So let's say it like this.
Especially considering it's like what, 3 days, 4 days?
Yeah, I think we will get close to 50,000 sold units actually.
That's secret.
And we also cracked the 400,000 wish lists.
Yeah, we are at 450 now or something like.
Yeah,
it's,
obviously
wish lists actually increase a lot when you launch a game. Those never really go down that much.
Yeah, no, don't accidentally show the website.
I remember when Crosscode came out and I was telling my buddies about it, how the tables have turned, and they are telling me about Alabaster Dawn so many years later. Congrats on the launch. Thank you.
How the turns have tabled.
Oh, look, Vincent. Actually, I used pen and paper when I sketched the first couple of test puzzles during my internship, but as Luxon said, the editor does allow us to conceptualize puzzles very quickly in the engine itself. Yeah.
Felix is behind.
You already answered this one.
Yeah, I'm behind. I found a bug that almost made me need to get out of the game and go back again for the bug to reset. Can we submit it? You can either go to the Steam forum or even better, go to our Discord. And we have a bug forum where you can submit soft locking issues and stuff like this. I posted the speedrun video. I want to check it out. Yeah, I'm not sure I want to see the speedrun right now. Maybe later. Is the Radical Fish logo becoming a monster again? Alabaster Dawn? We will see. No, we blah blah blah. Remember the one vlog that talked about day and night circle is that. So I mean, as you can see, the game has day and night time. The idea is at some point you can switch between day and night. It's not 100% sure when you can get this option, but you will get it eventually, I think. But it will not be in real time. You actually need to go somewhere and specify, okay, now I want to have night. Like I'm personally, I'm also not a fan of things change in real time very fast. It can be kind of jarring. I found a way to slow down. That does very much. Wait, this video is not. This is human input. Oh, god damn it. They found a way to slow down time, apparently.
Yeah, there's a time slowdown bug.
Oh.
That slows down time permanently.
Naruhodo.
Oh no. Let's not look at this too closely. I
mean, we might want to fix this maybe, but
yeah, man, that's maybe something we want to fix. Seems like some handle is not cleared properly.
Yeah, we will see. Yeah. I absolutely adore Crosscode and have purchased Alabaster, but the fact it's in early access worries me. I don't really want to play the game and then have to stop and wait before continuing it. You see, what should I do? Just continue to wait? I mean that's just the issue with early access, to be frank. I mean, if you just, especially a game like Alabaster Dawn, you just want to get it and play it through. I understand the feeling. It's just, for us, early access is just, to some extent, a way to actually make it happen in a decent way. So for a lot of people, they consider early access as a way to support the game. And if you are the type that really enjoys the gameplay and you could see yourself just keep playing the game, there are people like this, then you can use the early access version as a way to, test mechanics, test new enemies, give us feedback. something that we can promise to do is still to give you like a very good final release. In Crosscode, we actually released, I think, about half of the story with the final update. So yeah, at least you get like some good longer playthrough at the end where you can see most of the story. But yeah, obviously the wait will be there, right? So that's just hard to avoid. I mean, we are just working on a very ambitious game. That's just the reality of it. And we will try our best to be quick about it. But again, if we rush things, the end result will not be good. So that's always a tricky balance here. We did add the rogue mode as a way for you to, play around things if you really enjoy the gameplay aspects. But obviously, if you're more into the story, that's always a tricky thing, right? Because the story will always have to wait a bit.
It's also like, as Felix said, I'm still curious how we're gonna resolve some of the story beats. Like one of the biggest twist that will come up, and how we do this with early access. I'm sure we'll find a way.
I think some of those story twists have to be part of an early access release, because otherwise we have to push back more than half of the story to the final update, which I feel is too much. So we kind of need to balance this a bit more.
It's more layered this time, so like they're more juicy.
There will be more twists this time, as I mentioned.
Yeah. There's a auto-modded message here. I'm not gonna allow it, but I'm gonna answer it real quick. We can't really do anything about that wicked stitching, because we're not working together with whatever tunnel you are using.
So what is this about?
There's nothing we can fix. It's further down, Felix. It's an automated message. The language is somewhat strong, and so I don't want to allow it.
Yeah, I can guess what's the problem.
It's not like even if you post it in some bug form, like we wouldn't be able to do anything about it.
Yeah, that's likely not in our ballpark.
Uplink XD writes, I've been doing writing narrative for about 9 years now, and I think AB is absolutely killing it so far. The world building is stellar. Very happy to hear this, to be honest. Yeah, I mean, I'm actually very, very insecure about the story, because I don't know. I just read too much stuff online. It's annoying. It's tricky.
I think Alabaster has a banger story. I can't wait for people to experience this.
Yeah. I mean,
when everything comes together,
go through the story and think about all stuff that's happening, I also get motivated. I think it's gonna be nice, but it's always like I tend to be somebody who worries too much. Started
had a huge nostalgia hit from Terranigma. Aww.
Yeah. That was nice. I mean, exactly how we planned it.
Yo, hit up Square Enix, tell them to like meet us halfway. They should give us money and let them make a remake of Terranigma.
Oh gosh, yeah.
With our engine,
Oh boy.
Our engine.
Come on, Enix. You want this. You know it.
I did like the more slower pseudo MMO play segments in between the heavy story segments, gave some breathing room, I don't know. I mean, yeah, some people enjoyed that. Again, I think Crosscode really focused on characters in those moments, and some people really like that. I mean, it's not like Alabaster Dawn would be losing this. To be precise, right now, Alabaster Dawn might be missing some of the things that Crosscode had. People just talking about stuff when they fight enemies or go to places. Those are actually things I still intend to add over time. It's a bit more polish. So that's why it's currently still missing. But we do intend to have, more banter between party members as well. Because it's actually relatively low effort and has just a huge effect. That's just reality. Yeah, writing those small dialogues is not too much work, and it really helps to, you know, make the characters more interesting.
And sometimes you just pull them out of your ass, like on the spot.
Yeah.
No, never.
Never. I would never. My experience with chest hunting in Costco got me seeing potential paths everywhere, and I ended up out of bounds in Sunderland. I mean, yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I've already fixed a few out of bounds in Sunderland, but I'm almost certain that there will be some others.
Sunderland is just like the center map. All the maps are just very complex, especially in the ruined state. There are all kinds of little ledges you can jump on.
Said good. I have to play with VPN. Not that it matters. Okay. Do you like the story of Crosscode or Alabaster Dawn more? It's very hard to say, honestly. At this point,
they are both our children. You cannot ask us which child we love more.
I mean, if I'm gonna be honest, I feel Crosscode had some very powerful concepts where I'm not sure we can manage to reach those with Alabaster Dawn, but I think Alabaster Dawn has other qualities which will be very nice as well. So
I mean, it's also kind of like by design, right? Because if we would just do the same story thing again, then, you know, it would just be Crosscode again.
Yeah, obviously.
So trying something different, you know, even if it doesn't work out to its, like, as Felix says, like hitting the same story moment as like Vermilion. I think it's still worth it just to see, like, to try out, you know. Crosscode is hard to beat.
At least I think it was Phoenix because of the stylization of the okay.
I was an Enix fanboy, so I always knew it was Enix. What they did to my poor Enix, all their cool games were demolished.
What about making all nicks and divine barriers be indefinitely high, or does that cause issues? I think it will only fix part of the issues, because you tend to have not only barriers, but very often you have terrain between those air barriers, so people then enemies can still fly over those barriers. We do actually have a system to solve this decently. Like, we do have a system specifically for encounters to, you know, just increase like an infinitely high barrier around the arena. There's just some cases where it's still tricky, specifically because sometimes we design our encounters so stuff actually is supposed to happen outside the arena as well, and then it gets complicated. But yeah, for most encounters, I think we can always add those barrier planes, those collision planes, and that usually fixes those issues. But I wouldn't make the collision infinitely high, because there might be reasons where we don't want this, like situations where we want things to jump over those. And also because, I mean, again, the terrain is part of the border, and so we need like a solution that covers everything anyway. A major nitpick, but will fast travel have an animation? Juno kinda just spawns in right now. I mean, we do have some idea there. Fast travel is not supposed to be teleportation this time, by the way. So that's why you don't see her despawning.
That's why it's called traveling, not teleport.
But we had this idea of when fast travel is done, that there will be like a very short zoom in animation. You just see Juno just ending a walk or something like this. So we have some thoughts there. Toddlers.
The same for, like, technically there's also an animation for when Juno wakes up from the dream. Or Animator did one.
Oh yeah, we still need to integrate those, yeah.
Yeah, we kind of felt like, okay, I don't know. Do people want to see this animation every time when they lose like a run? You know, and they immediately want to go in again. I think that's why I kept it out for now and wanted to see if people are also like curious if we want to add something there.
I think it's okay. We just need to keep it short. I actually had this idea that if you're killed, she actually wakes up like it's a nightmare, and I think it would actually have a
That's a
certain
good
charm.
idea.
Would
I
have
like
a
that.
charm to it. Yeah. We just have to make sure it's fast. But I think having something is fine. Another nostalgia hit is reading your names and recognizing them from very old RPG Maker times. Oh yeah, that's how it's all started. It's been playing
Where it all
Alabaster
started.
Dawn
Good old RPG
all day
Maker.
after dealing with Steady, and we are of course being Fire Blue now. It looks like Amazon is going to be a home run for you guys. Thank you. As someone who played CrossCode 2 years after its launch, CrossCode DSC, launch Abaddon, like feels like home. Keep up the great work. Thank you.
That sentiment I also got from Vincent Fellow when I watched him play. He also said that feels like home.
Yeah, I mean
which was really nice.
a lot of things are obviously similar since we have our
good that we have like a feeling to our games.
It's just like, we design our games. It's exactly the same team plus more people. So obviously a lot of things will feel similar since again, CrossCode worked. There's like a market for games like CrossCode because there's not too much games that are like CrossCode. So obviously we make something similar again.
Will there be a sitting animation I can trigger everywhere, perhaps on tables? By chance.
I actually saw it sometimes that if you just stand around, people just sit down and start talking. I always thought that would be a funny thing, but people need to be patient for this to trigger. So I'm not sure.
The ADHD of today's age kicks in. Gotta run.
From where do you guys replay your feedback from? Is it Discord and Steam discussion boards, or ideally both?
Ideally both.
Like, I'm a little bit afraid looking too much at Steam, but I will eventually.
Steam is a different beast. I keep looking at it. But if I like get the feeling that OP is already like a little bit hostile, the chances are less likely that I read through all of it. Because like, if you're already like Steam forums have this tendency to be very like, what's the word? Like more angry, I guess.
Yeah.
Definitely, they have like a bit more of a certain dynamic, let's say.
Yeah, like often like insults are thrown at each other when someone is asking for something. Someone says "get good" or something like that. It's immediately going in that direction. But I keep looking at it, so I'm trying to like include this in our decisions for sure.
Yeah. I mean, that's why
especially the bugs and
right?
like
so we have to
and bugs and issues for sure. Like.
Yeah. The question: will AD puzzles get as difficult as CrossCode's puzzles? They will definitely get more tricky compared to what you see in the demo right now, in the current version. I mean, we will try to keep things more simple in terms of execution. So don't expect puzzles that will be very tricky to execute. So will be a lot about timing and doing everything on time. That's something we did in CrossCode. I know some people love that, but a lot of people hated that too. So that's why we kind of reduced this aspect a little bit. But there will still be tricky and complex puzzles. You need to do more thinking over time. And we might add some timing puzzles as well. That just will be probably a bit less brutal, I think.
Path of Pain, Alabaster Dawn version.
I mean, you already know that some of those puzzles have 2 weapons that you need to navigate in parallel. And just remember, there's going to be up to 4 elements. So that means you can have up to 4 weapons that you can navigate in parallel. Yeah? So
you can even navigate technically.
I swear, this will happen.
This will happen.
More weapons you need to add in parallel.
That's actually one reason why we also added. This was, I think, actually a feedback by Vincent. Vincent, sorry, I'm sorry.
Fiona.
My bad, Fiona. I'm an idiot. And she actually, I think, made that feedback where she said like it would be better if we have a way to distinguish what barriers go down and up with symbols, right? I think that came from her.
Right.
Yeah, that was because of how we have those catchers and things attached to this. Yeah, that happened because of Fiona, I think. But yeah, I like the current flavor of puzzles. I'm really excited to see where we are going to have a ultimate experience, similar moment in Alabaster Dawn. Yeah, I mean, things will be just framed a bit different. But I already actually have some. Some days before release, I actually wrote down some ideas about a certain fight, which I feel will be unique in a different way compared to CrossGo, but still need to pitch this to everyone. But anyway, would it be possible to bind element switches to scroll wheels? It works with CC. Yeah, I mean, yeah, we actually want to add some options for scroll wheels. We discussed this. It could be loadout, it could be elements. Like both of these options. Maybe we just make an option either the scroll wheel will switch your elements or will switch your loadouts, or will do nothing, because some people don't like this. Probably nothing will stay the default. But yeah. I played 9 of Alabaster Dawn. My favorite ranged weapon is the check guns. My favorite. This is the same comment again, but it's yeah. Okay. Me too. I found it. Some of my friends played through CrossCode are very much not puzzle brains. Sometimes they're just impatient. Sometimes they can't figure out how to get places. So they end up completely missing, say, the House of Bergen with Dika, even when they're at the point of entering Farjo. Yeah, I mean, I think that, that's just a tricky thing about CrossCode. Like, the puzzles are like one of those features that's very hated but also loved at the same time. So it's tricky to really decide what to do here. But I get the impression we are moving in a good direction overall. I was wondering at the very beginning of the game, after the main character wakes up, exploring feels a bit limited. Was that intentional, so players can focus more on learning the mechanics first? Yeah, when you wake up during Nyx phases, there's intentionally not too much exploration, for the very simple reason that everything will be gone, and exploration always needs you. Exploration is inherently something that you will miss if you don't do it, right? If the world changes, that means you will never be able to do the stuff that you missed. And that's something we try to avoid. That's why the Nyx phases will always have less exploration. The exploration always comes when nature returns. There will be a little bit more exploration in later Nyx phases. You see this already when you go through Auron Plains, right? There is like a few optional sections where you get some items. The thing about those items is they will actually disappear when nature returns, right? So if you don't get them, you miss them forever. And we actually design those items in a way that it doesn't hurt when you miss them. But yeah, that's why whenever you fight through the Lost Lands, there's really very limited exploration, because whatever you miss will be missed forever. And I think people usually don't like that.
Yeah, like all those chests you have there, they are basically only stuff is in there that you can get in other ways as well.
Yeah,
and they're also not tracked for the purpose of like completion. They're basically more complex destructibles, like forageables.
Yeah, kind of like this, right? Yeah, it's kind of like compressed enemies and destructibles. I spent a long time in some of the dungeons, but I love trying to right now with Alabaster Dawn and new mix and with holding multiple elements and hitting different targets, which is complex but exciting. Okay. Good idea. After fast travel, make your camera zoom in, keep Juno inside the camera first and make her walk in the camera first and looks like this should feel similar to all the other animations. Yeah, I mean, we will try some things for fast travel for sure. I really love the crosscode puzzles. I'm okay if the execution is less difficult, but I would definitely want hard and tricky puzzles, please. Yeah, they will get harder. So
yeah, I mean, like remember when you started crosscode, how easy they were, and they got harder at the end, right?
That is actually not true, Stefan. The first puzzles.
Don't mention Bergen Dungeon.
Yeah, the thing is that I just want to say is, I mean, crosscode was very rough at the beginning. Like some of the first puzzles were actually already very tricky, and I think Alabaster really tries to ease you in more into the difficulty in many ways. Not just puzzles, battles as well, actually. The game is pretty simple, but it will become harder over time. At least that's.
I saw some people already, when they got deeper into the game, being somewhat overwhelmed by the whack-a-mole quest.
Yeah, that's
with the idea of like ground pounding. What am I doing now?
Yeah, I mean, I saw this. I'll probably do something there just to, get more people to notice that they have to keep using the ground pound. But yeah, it's that was like one attempt to, teach a mechanic in a more subtle way. This very often fails if you do this. It's just that's the tricky thing about game design.
Yeah. No, Darkhead, you're misunderstanding. You're not missing out on any things. You cannot have any missable chests or any missable completion stuff. These are just forageables, basically, and little goodies that you get for a little bit of exploring. But nothing you gain there is like a blueprint, maybe, or like a gem. Nothing like that. Ingredients or essences you get from that.
The Darkhead says, I would appreciate a way to quickly swap between unequipped weapons that aren't in your loadout. I mean, the loadout is there, so you can quickly switch between weapons. So, really, the loadout is just 2 sets of equipment, and you can specify which weapons you put in there. So, really, it's ideally, you want to make sure that every weapon is at least in one loadout somewhere, in one of the elements. So you can reach every weapon. And there will be more loadouts later in the game. So you can get 3 or 4 if you want to. But beyond that, it's up to you to make sure you set your loadouts in a way so you can quickly access every weapon. That's just how we designed the system here. I don't even know how to even add another way to quickly swap things. We have no more buttons, really. Do you have a drawing session at the end of your dev streams? Oh man. We haven't been drawing for such a long time in streams.
It tends to take a long time, and we often don't have the energy anymore. We are too old.
Yeah, I don't stream until past midnight. That's like the difference now. Are Dennis Akbulut and Shirako Monagi the same person? Yes, they are actually. It's his.
I mean, I haven't seen them in the same room yet.
I have.
Okay.
So I can confirm.
Let's return in my mind. Immediately goes to Okami. I mean, Okami was definitely another big inspiration. Nature returning. My mind goes to Terranigma. I mean, yeah, it's Project Terra. Hello. Now that I remember, there was one thing I take issues with in the Let's Go demo dungeon, the multi-stage fight, bugs, jellyfish thing. If you fail in the first attempt and suddenly turns into Dark Souls, where you only have 3 emergency heals, but nothing else. Call it demo?
Dungeon.
What is a demo dungeon? Bugs, jellyfish, spinny tortoise.
Jellyfish.
Are we talking about Alabaster Dawn or about Crosscode? Wait, what? I'm confused because first of all, Alabaster Dawn, when you die, you keep the healing. It doesn't work like Dark Souls where you get back to your to the waypoint. but you actually you start in the beginning of the room, and it's the state that you had when you entered the room. So you have exactly the same heating you have before. So I'm not sure what you're describing here. So it's not designed like Dark Souls in that sense. So you can't just repeat the fight exactly the same way as much as you want. I did not ground pound. It was more fun to perfect parry and then use the parry crossbow. I mean, parrying also works, but it does take you longer to beat them this way because they just keep digging back in, which is something I could change, but I feel I wanted people to use the ground pound. But yeah.
Biggest inspirations. My biggest inspiration is myself. I'm so good at everything. No. My biggest inspiration is obviously Henna, you know.
Really?
Yeah.
Is trading going to return walking between NPCs to get materials, or is it just exploration, quest rewarding? Actually, some kind of trading will, not exactly trading, but there will be, let's say there will be money at some point again. Right now there isn't, but there will be. There will be people selling you stuff, and you can also sell your stuff to get money and stuff like this. So this will be actually a thing at some point, and I'm actually kind of looking forward to this. I think we probably will make trading a bit more concentrated, like compared to Crosscode. So we will not have trading spots all over the city. So you have a hard time finding the right trading spot. There will be more like a marketplace, I feel, where there's like a lot of things to buy at one spot.
It's already there. It's already like I made a space in the center of Sunderland Point.
Yeah, pretty much. But yeah, it's something you can actually go around and buy stuff. I mean, you can buy ingredients for cooking, for instance. Actually, it will be a lot about cooking, and maybe some other stuff too. But
I mean, if you think about it, the current forging system is basically like a trading stand in Crosscode.
Yeah. It basically is.
Yeah.
When you start getting money, you will also probably start having to pay for it.
Yeah, that's at least the plan. So there's a bit more of a point to money.
Sorry, Juno, we invented capitalism.
Yeah,
it's pretty much like
no, not invented. We brought it back.
We brought it back.
Right. Yeah. And you already know the character who will be responsible for bringing it back.
Yeah, you already know it. You already
the final antagonist.
Take a guess. Is trading going to return? Okay, we had this. The puzzle I spent the most time with was the puzzle where you have to hit and move boxes a lot of times while on a timer. It was frustrating at the start, but once you get it, it just clicks and you manage to do it.
Yeah, I remember some people calling Crosscode puzzles like a boss fight in and of themselves. You know.
Yeah.
Especially the ones where you needed to guide one ball, and that was like the final boss before the final boss.
There are so good memes in the menu already. Stonk Ashran, yes.
Oh, yes. Those are all drawn by Yui, by the way.
Yeah,
Yui is still in the chat.
Yui doing all the stats, all the collection images.
I don't know if she still is here, but you know her. She sometimes lurks around here.
Yeah.
And she did all the art for that.
So yeah, biggest inspirations.
There are already more than you can see. Like the other 3 ones already done.
Okay. Every monster had biggest inspirations. I think, did we talk about this? I mean, obviously, Terranigma is a big one.
Okami. I'd also say, like, if you heard of it, Crosscode, it's pretty dope.
Yeah, I mean, then again, what was the Crosscode inspiration? It's really a lot of games. Like, it's not just one game usually, but like a mix of all kind of games that we enjoyed, really. Not just action RPGs either.
For sure, like the usual suspects from the SNES era, you know. Something more modern like Xenoblade.
Yep. Also, Devil May Cry, you should always mention. I always like to say very high profile simply because of the style of this game. It always kind of has an impact on me. Stuff like this. What program do you use for the pixel art? I myself use Sprite these days. Fortunately, no more Photoshop. Some people in our team still use Photoshop. Our main artist, Thomas. Our main artist, Thomas, he's using GraphicsScale, which is a pretty old program, but he will never use anything else, I think.
Yeah.
That's just how he works. Alabaster Dawn, the post-demo dungeon. Okay. Yeah, so... Yeah,
the second part of the Aether dungeon, basically.
Yeah, no, that's the first part in the demo, right? The demo only has the first part. There's like this.
That's what I meant.
Yeah. There's like the boss fight at the end. Yeah, as I said, like when you die in this fight, you actually keep your healing items. At least you should, unless there's a bug. So it's not like you lose it. But yeah, that's just how the game is designed right now. Part of the dungeon you can access in the demo. Okay, yeah, training was fun. The shoot. With certain games, I think I almost have it. With certain games and or studios making similar feeling games with previous ones and up bad. Yeah, there hasn't been any crosscode around for a long time. That's why people are happy about Alabaster Dawn. I mean, that's another good thing about, you know, taking your sweet time with video games.
And being somewhat of an underdog, you know. Nobody copied us yet.
Yeah. I think it's not just because we're an underdog. I think it's also because doing these kind of games is actually very hard.
Yeah, it's a little bit insane.
It's a little bit, yeah. Did Yui drew the dialogue sprites for the characters? No, those are actually mostly created by... The sprites themselves are done by Thomas, though we often iterate over those. Like several of our artists go over this. And yeah, the design is also done by different people. Mostly by Sibylle recently. We also had like Josephine Fee, who contributed some character designs. Yui has not really been involved with those, but yeah, now she helps us also with menu graphics. Who's bringing capitalism back? Looking at you, Macken. I did it! Guys, I reached the end of the chat. Yes! Okay!
Yes! Nobody copied you. Remember crosscode bootleg? Oh yeah, right. There was a crosscode bootleg version.
Okay, so now let's.
That wasn't. That was no bootleg. That was even lower than a bootleg.
Wait, why?
That was one.
Did you already change the chests, Henna?
I don't think he's here.
Henna, are you still here?
No, he's
That is gone.
He's pooping.
I'm just checking the chests again because we had this issue that people could interact with the chest that was high up. Maybe it's because there's like something like a stone or something.
Oh yeah, maybe you have like the tiniest elevation.
And then you can get the chest, yeah.
Yeah.
What is this?
There was also something I saw some people having issues with is interacting with the big stone in the Coral Valley map where you have like to do the 4 stones, and I recently changed that so the interact should be easier to interact with. But apparently now Juno doesn't correctly run towards the thing.
Okay,
I need to take a look at that as well.
Yeah, actually, look. Tiny stone can open. Damn it. Okay. Yeah.
Tiny stone yet again.
Tiny stone. That was enough. Okay. Yeah, okay. Yeah, we just wanted to change the Okay, more chat. Yay, brokers, chat updated. We have time to ask more questions. 6-7, great. So interact.
The stone that paves the way to progress.
So right now we have same and overlap. Do we actually use same? We actually do. For the struct entity.
Yeah, they are used in some way, in something, and also on interact entities, right?
I don't want to use now switch it to same because it might break things, but I think it wanted to make a let me say climbable. Climbable. So something where you could climb to. That means about like a tile difference. That's what I would. That's how I would say it for now. We can always tweak this later. Okay.
Will it be able to farm Whispers of the Gods? No, not farm. And the exchange you see in some is also a limited supply. Yeah, as you say, yeah, they're only limited supply. We use them to like determine like the number, like we'll place them out so that you have enough for the gems if you explore everything, basically. I think right now it's even more than enough. That's kind of the limited resources. Think the upgrade stones in Dark Souls. Maybe the Whispers will be farmable later or like buyable, but the later ones not.
Yeah, there's suddenly more questions again.
What language? It's fine, I can answer them. What language? Easy. We have a comment for that now.
Oh yeah, it's TypeScript. Yes, this game is a website. You've all been fooled.
Yeah.
You're playing a web game. You just didn't know it. I mean,
you're playing a browser game. Lol XD.
That's why I still, at some point, maybe I will get the game unspawned, because this is like a whole platform trying to promote games that run in a web browser. And at some point, it would be cool to have crosscode, the Alabaster on there, but there's like some aspects where I would have to tweak things because we use some Node.js features.
Specifically, the save system is currently relying on
the save system will have to change. Does Rediga Fish Games work every day of the week? I did so the last few weeks before the release, but no, usually we actually take off the weekend. I actually also did much this weekend. I took a little break, but you know, streams are different. Streams are fine for the weekend. They're not.
Streams are, yeah. I mean, sometimes, especially now in early access, it can of course happen that we at least take a look at like the Discord, what's happening there once in a while, and if there's like some really important bugs, then we might say, oh hey, gonna
then
fix that real quick.
Have to call me. Have to get me out of.
Yes, we have to.
I mostly spend time playing this weekend with my toddler, honestly. That's why I did
Felix, you have to wake up now. You have to throw away your toddler onto the couch or something and upload a new build immediately.
Yeah, I can talk about this. I actually uploaded the build today for Steam. And I made the very wise decision before I set the build live. You know, for Steam, you actually need to... They do a lot of two-factor authentication stuff where they send you a pin to the mobile phone. And this usually works, but sometimes there's a long wait and it's annoying. So they actually wrote a message up there. Hey, how about you just install the Steam app and we can do the authentication via the app. And I thought, okay, that makes sense. So I decided to install that app. I configured the authentication to work through the app. And then I tried to submit the game, like set the update live. And then Steam said, oh, we just realized you changed your authentication version method. I'm sorry, you cannot update the game for the next 72 hours. So then I couldn't update the game for the next 3 days. So I couldn't, luckily I have like a second Steam account, which is like the official Radical Fish Games account, and I didn't change anything there, so I could still set it live. But damn, that is just mean.
Yeah.
Come on. I mean, you could at least add a warning if you tell people to just switch the authentication method. Like
Maybe
this.
they had a warning in some small text box.
Maybe there was some. I didn't see it, but it's easily missed, and it's
small note. We might want to change the Nightbot message to buy Alabaster down here. You no longer need to just wishlist it.
I mean, they can still wishlist.
Yeah, of course, but they can
cancel wishlist.
I mean, buying is preferred.
Just want to say thanks for all the love in the chat, guys. In between.
Very busy today. Like
Fun Squad says like all the cutscenes, no one does them because we just nail them. I can tell you why no one does it like that. They're actually a lot of work.
Yeah, that's true.
Cutscenes, especially the ones that Felix does, are always the most insane cutscenes. Filled with all kinds of cool little animations, and little effects. And props to Felix for like getting those out. Every time I go for a cutscene, I'm like, damn, you can do all these things. Like, you can always go crazier, it feels like.
Yeah, I mean, I just remember how, like, this one very famous cutscene in Alabaster Dawn, in Crosscode, where I spent like a week on it, and I feel like this is almost like the new standard for all the freaking cutscenes in Alabaster Dawn now. But, I mean, to be honest, our system really helps a lot. Like, we worked a lot on our tools. And it's also easier to do those cutscenes now, in many ways.
Felix, just imagine doing cutscenes with RPG Maker with the navigation that you had back then.
Yeah.
I mean, Felix did some amazing cutscenes in Versabor,
Yeah.
I mean, it's
exactly.
Those were a lot of work too. So.
Yeah, I imagine.
Because we didn't have real navigation. You always had to, like, move people around with move forward steps, basically.
Yeah. Oh, that's true. Yeah, you needed to move forward and then turn around.
Oh, you had relative movements.
Yeah.
You couldn't
that's true.
Say, hey, move here. It wasn't possible. It's like so insane making cutscenes with that.
They're rendered in engine. Yeah, they're rendered in engine. It's all in engine stuff. Even the like bigger sprites things is all in engine.
Yeah.
Roughly what of the final game you currently have in early access? About 20%.
Yeah.
How did we all start making games? Ooh.
Started with RPG Maker.
I think it was... Yeah, it was RPG Maker. I think I was about...
God dang it.
12 or 13.
We didn't see this. Okay. But yeah, it works now.
Oh, damn! She's like...
She's sliding around. Like I'm only gonna open the chest from this angle. The other angles don't work. Anyway, I fixed this now, and I made I called it climbable. So it's something where Judo can theoretically climb.
I already pushed something.
What? Oh god damn it. Okay.
Yeah, you were gone. Felix actually asked you, but you were gone.
Yeah, I said be right back. I think it must have gone.
Okay, you called it single tile. How did you implement it? Let me just check if you did it good.
Okay. let's roast him.
Okay. Let's do a live code review for Hannah's stuff. Okay.
Let's do the +1 because it's literally one tile.
Come on. Why do you make it so complicated, Hannah?
Why complicated? That's just...
I mean... Look, what you do is you take the overlap and just make it a smaller overlap. And all I did is just saying, okay, the position is at most 1.25 coordinates different.
Okay, I mean, in a way, I thought I could just use that because it's basically the same, but isn't...
I mean, the overlap is actually kind of tricky because overlap is a lot more complicated than just comparing coordinates. But when it comes about, can you go there to climb it actually doesn't matter how tall Juno is. It's only about comparing floor positions.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. And the chest collision size doesn't really play
Yeah,
a
it
role.
doesn't matter
Yeah.
actually.
I mean, Felix, we can take your method. I don't care, Felix.
Okay.
I don't give a shit.
Okay, I'm gonna.
The idea with climbable is definitely helpful from a naming perspective. Because then you know, okay, this is like you can interact with it and Juno will climb to it.
Conflicts. Okay, let me.
Oh no.
Actually, it kind of merged it.
I hate Git so much. Anytime I have to use it with other people, it always ends up with. Well, do you hate Git or GitHub? Important
Probably
question.
Git. I mean, GitHub.
Personally, I love Git. Like we just say, you know, we never work on different branches. Like.
Yeah.
Because why would we? We're small enough a team, you know.
I mean, Git works really well if you know how to use it. Honestly, back then, there's like the alternative back then that I used to was just so much worse. Git was actually just, in comparison to the other version control methods you had back then, I actually forgot the name of those.
Was it Perfos? No.
It was like something
Subversion?
like yeah, Subversion was one. Subversion was the one. That one was just horrible. Like it broke all the time.
That is horrible.
It was really slow. And then there was like something called like, what is like Quicksilver, like Mercury. There was like one called Mercury or something like this. And that was also not so great. And Git was just really impressive in that it was like really, like the performance was really good actually.
Manually resolving merge conflict. I mean, yeah, it's easy. Like the arrows tell you exactly where the problem is, you know.
Yeah. But yeah,
Tells
I
you
mean,
what ahead.
the reality is version control is just tricky in general, right?
That's true.
It's just something you need to learn. There's no magic switch making it simple because it's just inherently a complicated thing. If two people modify the same file, you're just gonna have a headache. It's like nobody can take this away from you, and Git just does like the best job in general by far. That's why
Mercurial.
Yeah, that's the other one. I worked with this one a little bit, and with SVN. Yeah.
SVN I worked with, and Perfos I worked with, yeah.
But it has been a long time since I used anything
I just learned how to do it manually.
But Git.
I mean, yeah, you can also automatically resolve them, but personally, like we also never have big merge conflicts, you know.
Never.
And mostly it's like asking one of our team members, did you change the file? What did you change? You know, is your change bigger than my change? You know, I can do it again. When it comes to assets, you know.
I just remember, like a few days ago, the Hubtown NPC JSON just being broken.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
That was about the same time I realized that this is currently probably our biggest JSON file in the whole project.
Yeah.
I still don't. I think
because it has so many characters.
It's bigger than Juno. It's bigger than the biggest map. It's ridiculous. If you go to, let me see, Hubtown, for instance. Yeah, Hubtown is pretty big, right? Center 30 megabytes.
Yeah, center Hubtown.
Pretty big, right? Now let's go to chars. No, not chars. Figures.
What the fuck is this?
And then you go to chars, NPC, Hubtown. 60 megabytes. 60 megabytes. It's just animations. Animations are actually a lot bigger than I thought they would be. I think I need to really go over this and try to compress things a bit more. There's actually a lot of redundant data there. And also for some reason, all the floating point numbers of the rotations are always insanely long. There's so many floating point
decimals
numbers.
A lot.
Yeah, I think
to be fair though, for I think for the people it's much smaller, like because it's compressed, right?
For what?
Like the final the release version is much smaller.
Obviously. This is like
not even like 100 kilobytes, I think.
No, it's still like a few megabytes. I can show you.
The cars, cars.
It's not as it's still a lot smaller, but still.
It's figures up. Yeah, it's figures. Sorry. I was looking at the car folder.
Yeah. You go to build.
That makes sense. That makes sense. Uptown. Okay, it's 4.5 megabytes.
Yeah. 4.5. Yeah, it's still pretty big. Yeah, I mean, I just need to do some optimization of the animation assets. Honestly, just making the numbers a bit smaller because there's just way too much precision. You wouldn't see the difference if I would cut away half of those numbers, I think, if not more. And then just a lot of stuff is just declared redundantly, and there's other ways to.
And also a lot of empty stuff is in there. Like I remember the frame keys, for instance, is always an empty array.
Oh yeah, that's something we could also
probably can
optimize.
be defaulted to just null,
Yeah.
Which was a genius idea that Felix had, to just say that we have like a default value in our editor states, and then we can say this default value goes to null, and so when you save the file, it doesn't save the key. It's saving you a few like bytes,
Yeah.
Then in engine, when we load, we just say, okay, it's null, then we give it the default value.
And I do this in the animation system, but somewhere it's broken. I don't know why, but because there is actually a lot of actor and no overlap specifications in every friggin' frame. So something there is broken, and we really need to go over this. It's not critical, but probably could compress this by a bit.
But it's definitely a file that's noticeable in the editor right now when you open it, and then it takes a second, to display all the entries in the list. Okay. Default values can save a lot of space. Yes.
Oh, the chests. Jason has also a conflict. Yay!
I think like proper system or like software engineers should never look at our commit log. Hannah is trying to be very
very structured.
Very structured, and then I feel like if you look at mine, they're sometimes just like
I think even mine
like quoting all kind of movie titles, stuff like this.
Yeah, quoting movie titles.
I have to admit,
except mine.
I also do a lot of like misc because I'm like, oh man, there's so
much.
Like
it's still structured, you have like a title in front of it.
Yeah, okay.
I literally sometimes use emojis in my commit logs, just to make, I don't know, because funny. Unfortunately, I cannot check out the GitHub log right now, I think. No, I have to log in. Oh, God damn it. GitHub always wants me to log in.
But I mean, most software engineers would already crucify us for not using branches, I think so.
This is, I don't know.
We use branches sometimes.
I feel like this is not so clear cut. Some people say you always have to use branches.
Yeah.
But there's also other people, including myself, that say that this is stupid, just rebase. Because, I mean, you're essentially sacrificing readability of your history. If everybody just merges, you just don't know what the fuck is happening at some point. And obviously you do some weird stuff when you rebase, but the end result is a very clean, simple history. And that is something you might want to have, right? So I don't know.
Yeah, I mean,
I think there's different camps when it comes to this.
I think the whole always use branches is just like so you will always fit into the perceived industry standard. Like,
I mean, and then you see exactly how changes were applied, so there's no changing history in a way, right? But I know I feel I'd rather have a history you can read.
Yeah.
We have cracked the 10,000 mark at some point. 10,000 commits. Just noticed. I never checked.
Oh, dang it. Okay.
We're in there. Okay, one of my commits just says something. All right. I'm sure I will remember what I did there.
Oh man, so many.
Okay, there are surprisingly a lot that describe what I did there. It's usually, I think, when I do mapping that I tend to do the movie titles or game titles.
Oh, sorry, we got a question. How did you guys make the particle effects? They are gorgeous.
Thank you. Custom particle engine. Pretty much.
Yeah.
It's kind of sort of derived from what we did in Crosscode. Like many things we do in Alabaster, we did in a similar way in Crosscode, but we added more stuff and made things more complex. And the effect system is let's go to the charge effects because they have like 90% of all effects. You can configure a lot of stuff in our effect system. It's not easy to understand, but actually a lot of time went into this as well, I have to admit. But I mean, effects are just like, if you have a good effect system and you know how to use it, it's a huge time saver long term, because you tend to do less with animations and you do more stuff with, you know, just effects, and it actually saves a lot of time that way.
Wow. Okay, I just want to read real quick some of my commits on the 3rd of April, right? Okay, it starts off actually really nice with remove debugging stuff, and then losing my mind, Lil Ledge, bridge out of bound fix, ghost beam busted, and then I started with fixed me being an idiot, fixed me being an idiot again, and then a third comment just saying, ah. Did I forget a nod? It's probably just me forgetting a nod.
Sorry, what?
I'm just reading my beautiful commit logs.
Yeah.
Oh, just boom. My brain is fried.
I mean, also, if I look at a few that I did, I mean, I do all caps mapping because I try to start it with an all caps something, and then minor fixes. I don't know. I mean, it's sometimes you just.
It is at least something.
Oh no, names.
How do we come up with names? Was that a question?
Yeah, that was a question.
Please don't ask us that kind of question.
It's black magic.
Yeah.
How do we come up with names? Oh, that's an art form, you know. I just have to have the gift, I guess.
Names, schmames.
As long as I don't have to choose the names. So that's
some of your names are legendary. Like, what was her name? Like the female soldier from Velzabor? Her full name is just legendary to me.
Sonstige Kosten.
Was it something like this?
Sonstige Kosten. That scene just had me wheezing when I first read it. It was so good, dude. The good old Felix humor in full effect.
Yeah. Okay, so we actually getting close to 11 o'clock.
Damn.
Devs, love Crosscode, I'm gonna buy Alabaster Dawn. Thank you.
Oh, there we go. Mapping returns.
Oh no.
Mapping to the mappening.
Yeah, there was like a time where there was a lot of movie titles.
I think it was when I worked in a swamp. Mapping it up.
I mean, isn't XYZ Returns reference to the Final Fantasy 13 Part 3 or something?
Wait, Mapping jenseits von Gut und Böse.
Oh no.
Oh gosh.
Mapping nach Zarathustra oder was? What is it called?
Yeah. Oh my god. Mapping evolved. Mapping Extreme 1080. Oh my. Mapping gone viral. In parentheses gone sexual. In parentheses again gone wild. Oh my
Install
god,
map
dude.
kits on the maps.
Yo, okay. So, okay, I could now work on something else, but honestly, I feel it's too late for this.
It's pretty late, yeah.
Yeah.
Too late. Fall it down.
Was mostly about just talking. So showing people that we are alive and we just didn't just, you know, grab the money and disappeared or something. So we
can finish the next version until next Friday or something.
The next version, yeah, sure.
I mean hotfix.
Hotfix, yeah, for hotfix, sure.
Oh, here. I have a few more, okay, before we go.
Hmm?
Map emblem.
Map emblem, oh yeah.
Yeah.
Is
Devil May map. Devil May map.
Is it map emblem?
Xeno mapping free, jenseits von Upper and Lower.
Oh my gosh.
Prince of Mapping. Oh. Civil Mapping 7.
So there's some questions again. People are still having questions. Roughly what percentage of the final game does the current version represent? If you can say, we say it's about 20% of the content, which isn't that much, but we hope that the remaining 80% will be developed faster compared to the initial 20. Also, is it really just the four of you guys? Yeah, it's just me, Hannah, Stefan, and Fred Boat, Cutting Edge Music Boat. Just the four of us doing the game. It's just us. No, we actually are like we are more developers. I think last time I counted was like 15 or 16 people. Only part of them really like full-time, but a lot of freelancers and contractors helping out. So there's you're kind of like a somewhat bigger indie team now.
For some reason I'm like imagining.
Hi Javed, by the way.
For some reason
Javed is also part of the team, for instance.
Yeah, Javed is also doing some great animations.
He's actually the guy who's doing those amazing animations, so they wouldn't look half as good if he wouldn't be part of the team. So
they would look not quite as good, that's true.
Yeah.
But no, I'm just imagining now this one Spider-Man meme of Spider-Man saying like, will you look at this? And then XYZ, the other character, and then we're like, will you look at this, Fredboat? I don't know.
Okay, Felix, is the game actually 3D? How does it work? Is lighting completely baked? Is it different baked global illuminations for different times of day, weather states? The game looks gorgeous. Thank you. The game is 3D, yeah. We actually don't have any baked lighting, which might be part of the reason why it's more hardware demanding, now that I think about it, because at some point I realized that the lighting stage is actually the more expensive stage. Our lighting computations is actually it's pretty simple though, so we don't do, it's not too physically accurate. It's just here that those are the light sources. Yeah, we can move those around. It's mostly diffuse lighting. We don't really have normal mapping. At some point we wanted to add this, but we dropped it. So it's really just, just diffuse illumination mostly.
Hey guys, one more for the road. Tony Hawk's Pro mapping.
Oh gosh, dang it.
So you mapped a lot of half pipes and grinding bars.
So yeah, like there's no baking in our lighting. That's what I'm saying.
Didn't Tony Hawk 2 or something have a mapping editor back in the day on PlayStation? I think there was a mapping editor in the old game, and I assume also in the newer games.
Okay. There's a question by Atzelot. Do you have a rough ETA window for the next batch of content, Swamp, etc.? We will follow up with that soon. I think we need to discuss this in our team, make some plans, and then we will actually announce some plans that we have for the next updates, because it's very good, very effective milestone that helps us to actually stick to our goals.
And we will likely also have like a beta test before we release the next content.
Yeah, we will likely try to do beta tests before releases in any case. Yeah. Okay, will you add a Man Juno DSC? I need me more manlier in my life. Yeah, Man Juno, I think we will name it differently, but maybe. Congratulations on all well-deserved success, guys. Long live the raid. Thank you. I'm hoping we'll see something on IndieQuest. Yes, right. IndieQuest.
IndieQuest?
We will get to this. The next big showcase where Alabaster will be featured.
Is that so?
Next to a lot of other great indie JRPGs and RPGs. Oh no, somehow I bugged a bee outside the arena in the roguelike. Oh yeah, that happens.
Oh yeah, we also, I saw a couple of those. Yeah.
By the way, before we stop, did you see what I posted in the streaming Discord? There was another weird movement trick, and I have no idea how that's working. It was posted in the spoiler channel again.
What's happening?
What?
Yo, wait, hold the fuck on.
What?
Yeah,
hold the fuck on. That's what...
Yo, wait, hold the fuck on.
Yeah. I've seen this one actually a couple of times. I actually might still fix that one, so be warned. There's a thing if you do like I think a backdash or a side dash and then you jump, Drew does weird stuff. Honestly, I feel this bridge I actually might want to make it 1 or 2 tiles wider because it's too... I feel if you're just lucky, you might be able to do this jump.
That's true, that's true. That's like it does look like you could make the jump.
Yeah.
Barely.
We can do that.
Yeah. Just make it a bit wider. Okay. Anyway, I think that's all for today, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, map markers.
Yeah, if I add chest markers, I will add map markers.
Yeah, that would be cool.
Well.
I think people already wait for this.
Like one, like if I because then I have to work on map again, and then I can just do both of them. Makes sense when I'm in that code space.
Begging on my knees not to fix that one. Oh come on! Actually, I have to say I'm sorry, but you actually notice this one by just playing accidentally, and that's usually something I'm gonna fix.
Yo, wait, hold the fuck on.
Sometimes you just do dash backwards and then you jump. Maybe it will still work, the tag, because it's mostly about Juno doing the run through the air thing. That's what I want to fix. But yeah, it's maybe not immediately, maybe later, you'll see.
Alright.
The plonk jump thing can go 30 plus tiles. I don't know. Yeah, the plonk jump, is that the one with where everything slows down? Yeah, we will see.
No, the one you just shown is the blong jump.
Oh.
Backwards long jump, I assume.
Okay.
Blong.
What's happening? Yo, wait, hold the fuck on.
It's 30 plus tiles.
What's happening?
Are you serious? That's...
I mean, I think that's more true for the slowdown.
Yeah, slowdown. If it's the slowdown jump, then yeah, that one should probably be fixed. But
yeah,
this one doesn't go 30 tiles. Like 30 tiles is.
I think
like
that's something else. Yeah.
A small inside room map entirely.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. No, this is mostly about Juno doing the run through the air. That's something I want to fix. I think this technique might still work even after I fix this. But it's kind of weird that doing that actually makes her jump further. But yeah, anyway. By the way, I noticed that I can hold the bow and go downstairs at the same time. The animation kind of bugs. Yeah, well, I'm not sure we're gonna fix all of this, to be honest. We do not have custom stair animations.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Imagine stairs are not stairs, they are slopes.
They're actually slopes in our engine, yeah.
We don't have inverse kinematics positioning Juno's legs on those.
Yeah.
On those thingies. We don't have that.
Yep. Anyway, I think let's just wrap it up.
Yo.
Okay.
I'm
that
tired.
means- yeah, me too. Very tired. So
Yep,
thanks
me
everybody
too.
for watching.
Thank you.
Thanks for
We
everyone who,
We
joined
almost
us.
had consistently 130 viewers. I mean, now it's 120, but still,
There's
it's
a
quite
lot of people
for now.
watching. So thanks everybody who, supports us through early access. Also, thanks to all the people who don't, who want to want to buy the game eventually later. That's fine too, obviously. I mean,
Yep.
just thanks everybody who, follows the development. And yeah, so we will soon follow up with some more updates about what we will do next. It's definitely has been a great start for us, and as I think this is gonna be probably gonna be a good development and hopefully a very good game in the end. So yeah, look forward to more, and we will also try to do those streams more regularly. I always aim for 1 time per month at least. Last month was too much crunch though. We didn't manage to do anything. But yeah, until next time then. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.